describes acts of extreme violence in graphic detail and may include discussions about demonology and the occult, topics that caused widespread panic during the 1980s. This content may not be suitable for children under the age of 50. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the GROGTALK with your hosts, Dan and James.
All right, welcome to GROGTALK. I'm James.
I'm Dan.
Where are we from today, Dan?
Still in the abyss, 14th layer. I've seen from the sign and the entranceway here, it's apparently the Steaming Fen, which is
Steaming Fen. Okay.
Well, listen, Steaming Fen. It could, when you're talking about the abyss, it's a continuum of bad. So
Right.
that doesn't sound that bad. It's better than the Blood Tour.
Yeah, this is. I don't know if this is the highlight of the trip. But we still have what I can't even add 652 layers left. So.
Yeah, and it's ruled by the Queen of Chaos, apparently, the creator of Demogorgon.
Oh, that is what the internets say. So I'm sure there is a lot of lore about that. We should probably one of our Grog Talks should be when we get done a recap of all the layers of the abyss.
Yeah, yeah, maybe like a holiday episode.
The Christmas special, the top 666 layers of the abyss, starting at 666. This layer, exactly.
Casey Kasem.
That's right. This request is coming from Topeka, Kansas. Little Susie out there wants to know more about the Blood Tour.
Yeah, it's her favorite layer.
It's her favorite layer, exactly. This special is for you. Hey, so we have John Scott from his igloo in Canada. Very nice. That's he uses beer instead of milk. Well, here's to you. We've been known to drink at 8 a.m. here.
Oh, John Scott, Prespos? Is that Prespos? He'll tell you, I think. Man known by many names.
Well, maybe. They're all showing up now. They're all popping up because I will say it's been probably difficult for our fans who have gotten used to us showing up at 8 a.m. in the last couple of times we've been here, there, and everywhere to accommodate. We're like your favorite show that they switch date and times and they don't make it very clear what the schedule is. So,
well, it's particularly cruel when you get them used to 8 a.m, which they were angry about at first.
Right.
Then they adjust.
Yes.
And then they can't help but get up at 8 a.m. and there's no show.
Isn't that like Firefly or something like that? Wasn't there a show that they kept bouncing around and it's like the network didn't know what to do with them. But in our case, we don't know what we're doing, so we apologize. So if you ever want to know what our schedule is, it is on grogcon.com/events is where we have any changes and what we're coming up. So let's go over some announcements. GrogCon, unfortunately, as we said, is delayed. There is some talk. I don't know if you've been looking at our Discord, which we encourage everyone to join, about us being part of the Greyhawk Adventure Tournament, Greyhawk Online Tournament. So we need to see about doing that. I think we're interested. It just depends on where you're going to be. I think something's going on in October where you have to go somewhere.
My sense is I'm right here. You see where I'm sitting right now?
Yes.
I get the sense I'm here.
Okay.
In early October.
Well, then I will let them know we're ready to run a game. So
does going to a big college football game in early October sound like something that's going to happen?
This is Michigan football. I don't think they care at that point. They'll just.
Well, I don't think they care enough about me.
Right.
I think. Let me rephrase the question. Or be more specific. Do you think you see me there? Not do you see a game?
Oh, I see.
Do you see me getting a ticket going to the I doubt it. I think
Okay.
it's gonna be very limited in terms of tickets if it happens.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, if that's the case, I'll do something. And what we're doing now, we are in the middle of our GrogCon, the Grognards Guild Summer
Talk Guild Grog.
Summer Tournament. And we did session 1 yesterday.
Correct.
How'd you think that went?
I give it. Well, I mean, the players did great. They were very good. I mean, they made very good moves. I give my performance a C-, but you know.
Okay.
Well, they don't need to hear me. People don't listen to this to hear me complain.
Yeah, actually, I think they do. I think.
Oh, that's the shtick. Okay.
I think that's actually why they do come on the show.
I sucked.
But we are in the middle of the tournament. We are running 3 games for 3 teams for epic prizes and the honor of being this year's Grognards Guild 2020 Summer Tournament champions. Right.
That's a lot to put on that little plastic trophy.
Yes. I mean, the other thing is I hope I can find these trophies again, because people are, and first, why'd you call it plastic? I mean, it's accurate, but this is what they're playing for those who have not been here. Go ahead.
I'll just say, for those listening on the podcast,
yes.
James is holding a small, it's something you'd get out of, think dollar store, a little plastic, and a little gold star.
In the bargain bin of the gold star. So, but this is it.
This is $1 for this? Seriously? I'll give you 50 cents.
Yeah, it's, yes, but it's the honor of it. It's the fact that I stuck on and printed out that you'd be the Grognards Guild winner. So that is what they are playing for.
It's amazing we don't have more players.
Well, we didn't charge anything. So, and again, that's thanks to our patrons, we're able to do that. Again, there's not a whole lot of expense to it. We do it because it's a lot of fun. And we wrote, and I say we, when I say we, I meant you and Rob wrote the adventure, which is, what's the name of the adventure?
Oh, don't make me say it. He picked the name, and it was terrible. The Secret of Donut Cove.
The Donut Cove, yeah. I love it.
Secret of Donut Cove, it sounds like a Nancy Drew novel.
That's right. I love it.
The name's terrible.
I think it's great. It's
so terrible. It's great.
It sounds hungry. I get hungry every time I hear about it. It's like, oh.
I thought it was, okay. Dave last night was like, it's like a donut. I'm like, yes, that's true.
That's right. That's
exactly right.
It's very accurate. So we're running that again tonight, and then we are running it at 12 o'clock. And so what we're hoping to do, Rob says that was the working title. Well, that you can come up with. Oh
my gosh, is he online? Oh, that was a great title. I loved that title. I didn't know he was online. James, a little warning.
Nah, it's more fun. See, I think people. I know one of our listeners said, I'm always fixated on the chat. Well, the reason I am is because Dan is not looking at the chat. He is committed to this show. I am running all the other nonsense. So Dan has no idea who's on unless I tell him. So
that's true. It is better that way.
Yeah, it's good. Well, that's the. Rob said it's too late now, so you're dead. You're dead to him. So there you go.
I'd be like, why did Minion leave? Is he upset with us?
Exactly. Yeah.
What's wrong?
The show would totally go off the rails if I was a part of it. So, anyway. So, but again, thanks to our patrons, we're able to do that. I also want to mention, Minion says hi, by the way.
Hello, Minion. He's still on?
He is still on. Barely. We also have our Grognards Guild online, as many of our folks are still shuttered, unable to meet with other D&D players, particularly 1E. We have DMs Brian and Josh, and from what I'm reading on the chat, that DM Ed, is going to start a campaign as well. So if you want to DM, just get on our Discord, let us know. You can start up a game. You can use Meetup to get your folks together. It doesn't have to be a 1E game. It does have to be an old school game. We are old school, so you want to run Top Secret or Call of Cthulhu or anything like that. I mean, obviously for us, 1E is our our main line, but Paranoia, I'm thinking about doing a Paranoia game. So that's where you can organize and give folks who may be in a part of the world due to circumstance unable to play together. That's why we're doing this. So go out there if you're not playing or you want to play with some great DMs. I played with Brian, hopefully play with Josh sooner than later. Looking forward to that. Okay, so we are, thanks to our patrons, and our numbers continue to grow. Thank you to them. We have to give out a title today.
That's great.
So you have your D30s ready?
I do.
Excellent.
I'm ready to go.
And it is old school gaming. That is correct. We are about old school gaming. Nothing. If you want to play new school gaming, plenty of places to do that. You know. So today we are giving out a title. We have a new patron, and it is Augusta Pryor, also known as Aggie, and we are here to give her title out, which is super exciting. Oops, no, I don't want to open anything. Thank you. I don't want to mail anything. Appreciate that. So.
And there's some early controversy
Yes.
surrounding this, isn't there?
This is a controversy or just potential for controversy?
James, we're going for ratings. It's controversy.
Okay, there
What's
is
wrong with you?
controversy. I like it. Yes, controversy. Absolutely.
Have you learned nothing?
No, I haven't learned anything, actually.
I like how last night during the tournament game, so I'm sitting there, and I'm watching James and the other players, and I see James has what'd you have, a Guinness?
Yeah, I was drinking Guinness, yeah.
Well, that doesn't strike you as you were drinking during a tournament game.
Right.
I mean, are you better that way, worse that way? Does it matter?
I'm with you. I'm drinking. People should know that.
Okay.
They see me drinking. If I'm with you, I'm drinking.
No, I was really angry because I like to have a glass of red wine at dinner each
Right.
night, and I forwent. Is that the right tense?
I think so.
I forgonded.
It's not forgonded.
I forwent my glass of wine so I could be sharp for the tournament, and there you are, chugging a Guinness. But okay.
Well, technically not just one, but yeah, that's.
This is a series. I kept seeing a hand. You'd finish it, another hand comes in. You finish it. All right, let's go. Let's get this title. So, well, and I guess we're not going to. Are we going to talk about the controversy now regarding the geography?
Sure. Yes, I think we should. Go ahead.
Okay. So Aggie Pryor, which let me note is a great name. I mean, I don't know why she needs a title. I would just stick with that, Aggie Pryor. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Has asked for the Waterways of Indiana, correct?
That's correct.
And so the problem is we already have somebody in the Grog Empire
Correct.
who oversees Indiana.
That's right.
And so the question is, can you take Waterways?
Absolutely.
And now it doesn't sound very controversial.
No.
Yeah, and she said she'd kind of want to maybe would mess with the rule in Indiana. And
Correct.
she kind of had us at I want to mess with.
Right, exactly.
Right? Okay.
This is very, like in the My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which everyone who sees it thinks that's how my family was because we're Greek. Oh, is that how your family is? No, that's a movie. But there is the scene where the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. In this case, she is the river. So you can't get anywhere in Indiana unless you're going to go through the river. So I think it's very good.
All right. So okay, controversy averted. Yeah. So sounds great. So this is going to be for the Waterways.
And already they're not happy. So.
Oh, see, you assumed there wasn't controversy.
Well, already our Baron of Indiana has already said this will not stand. So yeah, this is already problematic. So it's awesome. Congratulations.
So we've got
His
we've caused couples to split.
immensity, Baron belligerent enslaver of Indiana. Well, he is an enslaver. I mean, what would you expect from him?
Well, it'd be great is if she sided with, because this is very problematic. He's vulnerable now.
Yeah.
Because she could form an alliance and bring troops in via the waterway.
There's the whole Great Lakes controversy that's happening already with the Scourge and the folks from Canada. There's a whole kerfuffle, if that's a word.
Yeah, just Just tell me when the dust clears.
Okay, well, the dust will clear on Discord. So anyway, we're ready for a D30.
Okay, here it comes. 25.
Divided by 2.
Well, so we're rounding, so that would be, are we rounding up? 13?
Yep, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Commander. Oh, that's very helpful.
Oh.
The commander. Her. We're going to assume gender. A D30.
Okay. A 1.
Sage. The commander, her sage? Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Another D30. Please.
A 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Supremacy. Sage supremacy. We love the alliterations
Ooh.
here.
The Sage Supremacy.
I think that's pretty awesome. 15.
12 divided by 2 is 6.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grand Duchess. Wow.
Oh, this is perfect. The Sage Supremacy Grand Duchess.
Now it's the 60.
It is 30 plus 15, 45.
45. Make sure I got this right. 15. Yeah. Yes.
Sounds like I hope you do get it right.
Yes, you got it right. Poisoner.
Yes. Oh boy. Josh is sweating.
And now a D30.
The Baron Belligerent. He's got a poisoner in his waterways. D30.
Well, it makes sense. She owns the waterways. She'll poison them if you.
She should hook up with the Strangler, maybe. I
That's,
could see
that's
an
what I'm
alliance
saying.
there.
It seems
Yeah.
like the fair gender are stranglers and poisoners.
The dice don't lie. It's
Exactly.
not us. A D30, you said, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A 3.
Protector. Poisoner protector. Another alliteration.
Poisoner Protector. Or as she's often known, P squared.
P squared.
There's a lot of names, you know.
Of the Waterways of Indiana.
That's right.
That is
You're
a
right.
mouthful. I'm not going to lie. That's a lot. So she's getting her tribute is really paying off. So, all right. So with, I'm putting this in the chat so we have it memorialized. All right. So by the
And you gotta
powers.
send it. Wait, you gotta send it to me.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That doesn't-
Yeah, I can't remember all that. I'm not like the president. I can't remember that many.
Do you know what an elephant looks like? Congratulations.
Yeah, but I can't remember. See, this is what they should have given the president.
Right.
Make him repeat this, one
This
of our
title?
titles.
Backwards.
That would have been more of a challenge.
We would fail that. All right.
I definitely failed. I would have failed the one he passed. I would fail. Everyone's walking around saying these 5 things, and I'm like, wait, which one came first? Person? I can't do it. I swear to God.
Yes. Yeah. It's. Well, I spend a lot of time with you, so I'm really not surprised.
Exactly.
Every day is a new day for you.
You know I failed the cognitive test.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really only because your line of work allows you to have breaks in between seeing people that people don't realize how potentially disabled you are. But it's okay. We all have our problems. So, by the powers vested in us as the Grog Empire, as the emperors, we bestow the following title to Augusta Aggie Pryor. Here we hereby dub the Augusta Aggie Pryor the
You're
commander.
already in trouble. You're not even. You can't even get through her normal name.
I know, because I'm trying to use her first name and her name that she wants to be called as. So Aggie Pryor, you are hereby called from this time forward the commander, her sage supremacy.
Grand Duchess, the Poisoner Protector of the Waterways of Indiana.
Congratulations. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Empire.
What do you think she's going to be known as? I think the Poisoner Protector.
Yeah, double
Don't you
P,
think?
double P,
P squared.
P squared.
Okay.
I like it. Or the DP, Duchess Protector. Start over. I try to start over.
And I think, do we need to alert the belligerent Baron that
he's
are
on.
there ships?
He's on.
Okay, so are there ships coming like already? Is he being invaded now?
That's right.
They were waiting at the Indiana border, or like the Stranglers' fleet or something, and the Poison Protectors were waving them in. All right.
Yeah, so congratulations to that. And there was a comment by one of our other, high-ranking members of the Empire, who, we know him as Carlos, but he is the Chamberlain, he is also the irresistible emulator of Clearvin, the Chamberlain, his most renowned, illustrious baron.
Irresistible emulator.
That's right.
Yeah.
He is the irresistible emulator. What happens if you stop giving tribute? And we've talked about this before, because we understand times are tough out there, and people are spending their hard money to give us to help us run the show, and we appreciate it. And we do this, again, this is not we don't put this on our taxes. We're not making anything off this. This is really just a labor of love for us. So if you are unable to continue to provide your Patreon, we do not take away titles. What we would say is, if you're not a part of the Empire, your title is yours. However, some usurper may come and take over your area. That would be the only downside to it. But you'd be a landless, like all those folks who are in Europe who have they have the title, but they don't have any lands.
Right. So it's kind of honorific.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of senior members, the Chamberlain from Australia, David Thompson, is on.
Excellent. Welcome, Chamberlain. Okay, so is it time?
So right now we already have people who are in various parts of the Empire deciding they're going to fill their waterways with concrete instead of it being potentially taken over.
That's right. That's right. Well, it pays to listen to the show.
That's right. If you're not paying attention, your lands and titles may be taken. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was your...
I was just saying...
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just asking what's next.
What's next is iTunes reviews. We really appreciate... We have been asking, and people have taken the call, and we've gotten some 5-star reviews. What do you think about that, Dan?
I think it's sensational. Who doesn't like positive reinforcement?
That's right. Well, wait till you hear the one. So the first one, they rolled a 20. I really warmed up to the podcast. The guests and their insights are amazing. And though, wait for it, right? That's like getting a performance review. You are the best employee we ever had, but
right.
You forget everything before that. Now it's the but. Though Dan and James tend to ramble on some of the shows, I'm right there with them. These are the same sorts of bizarre ponderings I have. Great job, guys. So thank you from Kothag via Apple Podcasts. And the second one is a great podcast about AD&D. So there was no lies told there. I will say it was pretty truthful.
It's all true.
This is a pleasant podcast to listen to in regards to Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Harken back to 1980 sometime and listen about the advanced way to play this game. The show is insightful and humorous with a fantastic guest list who know what they're talking about because they were there. From DM Leroy in Canada, our dear friend from the west side of the continent.
So very nice. Thank you for both of those reviews.
So if apparently if you do iTunes reviews, more people can find us. Which again, we are, if we're anything, we're slightly vain. We want people to listen, and we think would be great. So
has Wizards of the Coast called yet to
No.
hire us or sue us? It's one of the two.
No.
All right.
We don't even we don't even rate for that. We would be jumping for joy if we got sued.
Yeah, because wow, really? They care?
That's right.
That's awesome.
That would be great.
We should do something to get sued.
We're gonna need to. Well, there's lots of ways to get sued, Dan. I think you're aware of that. It's just.
Right. You want to pick one that's the ramifications aren't too severe.
All right. So now we are ready for random encounter. So my understanding of the random encounter is we're with a poisonous snake or spider. Which one was it?
It was a snake, I believe.
It was a snake, right? Because I wrote down spider, but then I thought, no, it's not a spider because we had a spider before. That was Charlotte. We can't have another one, so we made it a snake.
Yes, I think it was a snake.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay. So the snake is here in the 14th layer, and we're now to determine the challenger.
Okay. I rolled a 1. That's the Fiend Folio, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now I need you, James, to roll a D10 to determine the monster
level.
Level.
Yes.
And
5.
Oh, a 5. Or I'm sorry, not the monster level, the location. I'm turning, I'm flipping.
Yep, turning.
Oh, subarctic conditions.
Oh, subarctic conditions. All right.
Yeah, subarctic conditions. So now I need you to roll the predominant terrain. Roll a, well, I guess they'll do a D8. There's 7 predominant terrains in the subarctic condition.
6.
Oh. Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need you to roll percentile.
In the mountains of the tundra, what kind of terrain is it?
Subarctic.
Subarctic, yes. 45.
Herd animal. No, but herd animal's got that great picture. Doesn't it have that great drawing where the people are running? I mean, it's unfortunately they're not being eaten.
No.
But it's still it's still very Monster Manual-esque, if I recall.
Yeah, it's like a gazelle or something like that. Yeah, it's a giraffe.
Herd, yeah, so we've got...
Page 51 for those playing at home.
Herd animal. All right, so wait, I'm going to quit. No, stop. Don't look. Turn your eyes. Sorry. Okay. What is its frequency?
I have no idea.
Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it, actually. I'm going to say common because it's a herd animal. I would think it's common.
You are correct. Common. Exactly. Number appearing.
God, 10 to 100? I have no idea.
That's pretty good. No, you're doing well. Have more confidence. You need to state it, with confidence. 20 to 200 paren or more. So I guess you can look now. I just wanted to know if you would.
Well, and they're lawful evil, I assume. Chaotic evil, right?
It's neutral with evil in parentheses.
That's right. Parenthetical evil.
No, that's not true, of course. They're neutral. They don't care. They're just neutral. AC 8-7. We're going to have to learn about that. Movement 15 inches, 24 inches. Hit dice 1 to 5. There's a lot of stuff. Variable, stampede. Oh, special attack, stampede. That sounds good. Small, medium, or large. There is a lot of variety going on here, James. But I do love. Yes. Why is that giraffe chasing them? Are giraffes aggressive? Is there maybe baby giraffes nearby?
Well, that's what's great about the Monster Manual. I said it on Twitter that it is the help guide for the DM how to use the herd animal. Because when you roll up herd animal, you're like, meh. Just see a herd animal. No,
so
have the giraffe chase him. Yeah.
Yeah, so when the giraffe is chasing them, and the player's like, that is so unrealistic, man. A giraffe isn't going to just chase.
Just show him the picture. You show him the picture.
Gary says yes.
That's right. I love it.
Okay, so herd animals live in all climes. Musk oxen and reindeer at the North Pole. I like how he says North Pole. So like there's a North Pole in... So Greyhawk has a North Pole or whatever, or all fantasy lands have a North Pole? Well,
if it's I think it's a Earth analog, Oath, or Orth, not Oath, excuse me. It's a Earth analog. It has a pole, and it's...
Right. It's the one at the top.
Yeah, exactly. So
it must be a North Pole. So giraffe and antelopes at the equator. So what would this... Okay, are any of our listeners... Is Chamberlain of Australia, is that subarctic?
Subarctic mountainous.
Further south.
He mentioned caribou. Someone mentioned a caribou.
I think that's an excellent point. Yes, caribou.
So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So okay, so I think a herd of caribou.
Okay, it's a herd of well, we don't do a herd.
No, I know we don't. Well, he's going to break away from it. He's in a herd.
That's right.
He gets lost.
This is Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, because we have a poisonous snake by the river here in the 14th layer, and one of the poor herd animals leaves and Circle of Life.
How did he get there? Did somebody summon him? Do you have summon herd animal? Summon herd. That'd be a good spell. Summon herd.
Yeah, that should be
not
a herd
animal.
At the herd, right?
Summon herd. Attacks are simply the smallest will have but 1 hit die. The largest will have 5. So the question is, and we probably need help from our listeners, how many hit dice would a caribou have? Is a caribou? Do we have anything similar? Like, do we have musk oxen? I mean, no, musk oxen would be. I had that in musk oxen. I had that in my head because it was under herd animal. What would be similar? Do you think?
then, well, I don't know what your question is. I don't understand your question. I apologize.
Well, the hit dice are variable. It's based upon the type of creature. So the question is, if it's a caribou, what's the hit dice for a caribou? It's anywhere from 1 to 5.
Right, roll a d10 and divide it by 2. That's what I would do.
Really, you wouldn't? Well, no, you wouldn't do that as a DM, though.
Why wouldn't I?
I mean, you would do it. Wouldn't you do it? I think it's based upon the size. Don't you think? I would think that you would decide. I mean, a giraffe isn't going to be. I mean, unless it's young, so it's like dragons.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a baby giraffe, I think that's what it said, right? Based on the smallest. Oh, I see what you're saying. Smallest is based on the type of animal, not smallest.
Well, that's what I would have
thought.
thought.
No, you're right. I agree with you.
Oh, okay. So then the question is, what do we think of a caribou?
So, John said that we should look at Dragon 137, which of course is a little past our time. So,
yeah.
But it does have lists here. Now, do they have it in the Monster Manual or in the Fiend Folio, the types of animals? You could go to Conjured Animal in the DMG if I was going to try to use random tables.
Yeah, because we're in real. Well, I guess. Oh, well, you do that. I'm gonna keep reading here because we need to see what other information. This could be challenging that we need. Attack, because usually they're thinking of a herd coming here.
Right.
Not just one stray. Attacks are simply a matter of the animals in question, mode of defense, horns, butting, hooves, flight. Damage is a factor of defense, attack mode, and size and strength. As herd animals are not aggressive, despite the picture. Well, I'm sorry, I guess he's stampeding. They will stampede away from what they perceive to be the greatest threat to their safety. Human or humanoids of about man size or less will be trampled to death if caught in the path of a stampede.
Exactly. Or will require you to hold them for inordinate amounts of time.
Okay, so let's talk about the herd animal.
Okay.
So the herd animal is I'm walking along, I see a herd.
Yes.
And the only real concern I have is if it's going to stampede, correct?
Correct. Oh, unless you're going to eat it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because then it's its mode of defense. Attacks are simply a matter of the animal in question's mode of defense. So if I'm going to try to hunt it and eat it, it's going to. And so then you've got to figure out. So I've got it. So the herd animal isn't really. This is not providing a lot of information for me, understandably, because there's such a broad range of animals that would be in a herd. This isn't doing much for. We're struggling here, aren't we?
Well, we're struggling because we're trying to make it more complicated than it is.
This is first edition.
Right, exactly.
It is that complicated.
Yeah, I was going to say I would start with like some of these other folks. There's a horse. I would start with a horse. That's kind of a herd animal. Horse, yes. Or a...
Oh, there is a horse.
Yeah, there's a horse.
I didn't know there was an entry for horse.
Yes, there's a horse.
Okay, there is. You're right. I think that's an excellent idea. What would this be? This would probably be equal to what, like a medium horse?
Yeah,
or a wild horse.
Are we saying a caribou, or is that still...
Caribou. Yes.
Yeah, so caribou would probably be a light horse.
Light horse?
It's either light or medium, is what I would say. Yep.
Yeah, there's not much difference. I would say, I guess let's go with, I say light horse.
All right.
What do you think?
Sounds good. You don't have to argue with me here. This is why we play it. What's interesting is, of course, we DM'd yesterday, and no matter how much time and effort you put into it, there's always something that you're still going to have to adjudicate on the fly, and this would be a perfect example. And we love the random. We love the random tables. And this is one where, as a DM, you'd have to go, oh, crap, herd animal. What does that mean? And you don't have, in our case, 3 hours to figure out what the herd animal is, right? So...
All right, so we're going to pick, no, yeah, oh, you're right. No, I agree. Thank you, James, for the pep talk. You are absolutely right. We can handle this. So caribou have horns, don't they? They have 2 horns? Or am I thinking of muskox? I'm probably thinking of muskox. What do caribou attack with?
I don't know. Are they like a reindeer or not? Or are they more like cows? I've watched a lot of...
Yes.
I have no idea.
I would pull a picture up, but I'll lose the connection.
Yeah, let's see, caribou.
Pull up a caribou.
I think they're like reindeer, aren't they? Not princess caribou. What do caribou eat? Let's see what a caribou. Oh, Jesus, this is so. Yeah, they have. They're glorified deer.
Oh, so they have antlers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they would attack with their antlers.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have the big.
Oh, okay.
They look like reindeer.
Oh, okay. So basically the reindeer, which doesn't help us because I don't think we have reindeer. All right.
Yeah, but they have rams. You could do ram. There's also a ram.
Oh, you're right. You're right. They have ram.
Or
right?
goat.
Is that under goat? It's a type of goat.
Well,
wasn't a ram like a.
I don't know. I have to look ram.
This is terrible.
And
why do we have a podcast?
Ram, giant ram. There you go.
Okay.
Page 81. Which I like.
Yes. Okay. Now they're nastier though because they've got those two big horns. They charge you and they ram you.
Yeah. Well, these things have the big clover things.
I say 2 attacks. They're 2 because you're right. They will. I say 2 attacks.
Well, they have one horn. How are they going to attack with 2 horns?
Huh?
They have one horn.
You're right.
They don't attack twice with that. What are you?
Oh, I was thinking that it comes out like.
No,
but you're right.
They headbutt once. They charge once. But okay.
Yeah, with those antlers.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. 1 at. I'd say that's like what's a spear? 1 to 6.
Wow. You okay? Sure. How many hit? Well, let's start with the hit dice.
Okay.
So we say we're going to go with the ram size because the ram's pretty big size, giant ram.
Yep. I say it's 3. I would say it's less. I'd say it's 3.
Okay, 3 hit dice.
3 hit dice. And I say it's 1 attack at 1 to 6.
Okay, you're that's a little nerfing. I was going to say like the 4 hit dice ram does 2 to 12.
I know. It just seems.
How about a D8?
Okay.
Because the spirit of the herd animal is humans and humanoids are about man-sized or less will be trampled to death. I love that. That's awesome. I mean, even David mentioned that, and I read it again. He's exactly right. Because you could just see that in a random encounter, right? The party's walking through the plains, and they see a bunch of giraffe or whatever, and they somehow, like, they throw one of the stupid players throws a rock or shoots a magic missile at them just to annoy them, and then they get trampled to death.
Yeah, or something else happens. They're spooked by whatever. You're walking by, and there's a herd of whatever, giraffe, and some bird lands on one of them, and they get spooked. And what I love about this, it doesn't say anything about roll. It says will be trampled to death.
Exactly. If the stampede is coming at you, which you'd have to adjudicate, I'd basically say if they move towards you, I'd give them a saving throw, and if they didn't save, they were trampled to death.
We could do that. We could have the snake is moving along, and then there is a herd. Okay. And he's startled by the herd, and then you roll to see where the herd goes. We could have the champ be a herd.
Okay. That's great about us. We can make the rules as we go. So if you'd like.
What do you think?
I like it.
Is it a herd?
I like the herd.
You like it?
I like the herd.
Okay, so and this is important.
The herd of demonic caribou. That's what we have.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait. Oh, hell's the one that's got the stench cows.
That's right. Oh, that's my. That was a song I wrote back in the '80s. You're nothing but a stench cow. That's how bad.
Right.
It is. That's right.
By your band.
The Pseudo Undead.
Stench Cow.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I thought it was Stench Cow.
Oh, Stench Cow. Yeah, that's right. That's a great band. That's a great band name too, Stench Cow. So
that was taken.
That's right.
You got a letter, a cease and desist letter.
The
from the
Stench Cows.
Cow.
I mean, it's just awesome.
So wait, what's the? Yeah, so we're doing the. So yeah, what is the herd animal in the abyss? It is probably something. So it's like a demonic caribou.
Yeah, demonic caribou.
The demonic caribou. Another great band.
Demonic. Yeah, they were great. They must be from Canada, right? They're
yes,
naked.
They
opened for the bare naked ladies. The demonic caribou.
Yeah, I think outside of Calgary, I believe. So yeah, the demonic. Okay, so we've got the demonic.
Oh, David agrees
caribou.
with me. Save versus death to be trampled. Okay, that's perfect. Demonic caribou. That's the name of the band.
Oh, okay. Because this is what we need to talk about. Because we need to let people know how they should properly handle a herd. So David Thompson says save versus death.
To be avoided, trampled. Yeah.
Well, the first thing is it's got to come at you.
Yeah, you'd have to decide, is it
it in your way?
startled? Which way is it going? And if it's going your way, then save versus death.
Okay, why save versus death? Is that to get out of the way?
Yeah, that's to avoid being killed. Somehow, magically, you get away from it.
Can we talk a little bit about this use of saves versus, because I've sensed this different DMs will use save compared to attribute checks, skills check. I mean, I tend to like things like dex check, strength check, but there's also people who like to use the save.
So we're going to go on this tangent. Okay. And the demonic caribou from Norway. I'm sorry. That just makes sense. Norwegian death metal is... That's true. That's... who is... God, I forgot. I was just watching that about Norwegian death metal. What is it? Never mind. Anyway, now I'm completely scatterbrained.
Nate, say the 5 things. What person, television?
Elephant, cat.
Say it. Say it, Jay. We should do a test before each show.
So that's right. It's the cognitive test. The question is, and I think this is a good question, do you use saving throws or do you use ability checks? So, well, I think the old schoolers would say you should use saving throws because the saving throws are attuned to the class and they promote class versus these kind of attributes which are really meant to provide bonuses or negatives to skills, and they're much more. They don't again take into account the proficiency that someone would have as in their class. So we look at the saving throws, for instance. Obviously, spellcasters do better against magic, save versus magic. They have the best saving throws. And as other people are putting out, saving throws adjust with level. So I try, but though I'm not going to say I'm as consistent, I like using saving throws for things, well, the purists would say try to craft it into saving throws because you have 5 of them and it's class-based, it's class-favored, and it scales to level. The attribute thing says, well, if you're doing if you're trying to bend bars, lift gates, that is directly tied to strength. They have a way to do it, and it's a mechanic based on the attribute. So, and then in modules, we've seen where people started using the mechanic of rolling under a d20 to determine it. So I think it's what they're trying to do. What happens if you fail? Is there a penalty for failing? And that's how you should determine it.
Because technically what you could do is, if you really cared, you'd be like, well, if you were running an adventure, it'd be like, okay, where's the herd? So if you were using, going very miniature battle map-ish, where's the herd? How big is the herd? Where am I? What's its movement? What's my movement? All of those things, right? So this is what I'm going to lobby for, James. So this is, and look, and here's the reality of things, is you do the best you can as a DM, you make the call, and you move on, right? So I would like to ask that, I'm not a big fan of using saving throws for things they were not specifically designed for, but I'm willing to go with it as a baseline. But what I would like to lobby for is adjustments based upon the size of the herd and the movement of the snake. In other words, so it's just, why is it it shouldn't just be a 13 just because it says 13. There's a lot of variables going on here.
Sure, if you want to make it take even longer, absolutely.
Yes, I do.
And I do the same thing. So in my campaign, I kind of split the baby in that I like the idea of the ability checks for certain things that are, dodging, dexterity, lifting things, or leaping, strength, or the classic. I'm a magic user. Or I'm a cleric. Do I know about this other religion? Do I know anything about it? I have no idea. Unless it's obvious, you can sit there and adjudicate. Well, yeah, everyone knows the basic, major. Everyone's taken major religions in, college, so you have the basics, but you wouldn't know the exact ritual. So what I do is I use the attribute check, and then depending on who, so if you're a cleric, and it's a wisdom type of ability check, I give them a bonus. And if it's a magic user, they get an intelligence bonus. And if it's a fighter, they get a strength bonus. And and the later editions do that as well. That's basically how that's how they do it. Is you get a proficiency bonus. So I've made it even more complicated. So the issue comes: do you want to make it more complicated?
Yes.
Then you are free to do exactly what you said.
Okay. What I'd like to first do then, since you've handed over control to me, it sounds like, is that right? Do I understand this correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
We need because this may be a continuing champ.
Right.
We need to. I'd like to roll for the size of the herd because that's going to be relevant.
Correct.
So so 20 to 200.
That's 10. That's you have to roll D10 20 times. I mean, you don't have to do it that way. You could do D20. You could do D20. Yeah, it's D10 20 times.
Okay, are you ready? Wait, so that means wait a second. That makes it a big old bell curve. It's an enormous bell curve. I mean, I'm not having a problem with that.
Well,
it's going to be a big bell as opposed to just.
I mean, if you read it, if you want to get from 20 to 200 without skewing it, you're going to roll a D10 20 times.
Right, or if you wanted it to be flat.
Well, this would be Well, it's gonna.
No. This is gonna be a big old bell.
Yeah, it's a big bell curve, right?
Right. If you wanted to be flat, you'd roll something like, I don't know, you could like a 20-sided to figure out what tens you're in, and then.
Yeah, you could roll a 10-sided and roll and multiply it by 20. I mean, that's the other thing.
You could, and that would be. So all right, what are we doing?
Well, it's up to you. I don't feel like rolling 20 D10, so I think you should just.
No, I agree with you. I think so. If I wanted to get so 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 10.
I would just roll a D20 and multiply it by
30,
10.
40, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 19. I'm going to no. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that, and then we'll do So we're going to do a D10. Ooh,
a D20 and multiply it by 10. Oh yeah, D10. Right, I'm sorry, D10 multiply it by 20.
No, you're right. No, I like you. No, it's I like it. Let's do a D20 and just see what number we get, and see if it's between 2 and 20. All right.
Okay.
Or 2. Well, actually 2 and 19. 16. And now I'm rolling a D10, right? Because it's going to be 160. Does this make sense?
Yeah, sure.
167.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
There's 167 of them.
Okay, so we have a herd of 167 demonic caribou.
Hold on, let me write this down.
And we obviously, I guess we don't want to think about a name until we know if.
Yeah, demonic caribou.
The demonic herd. It's kind of its name right there.
That's right, the demonic caribou. I mean, what you want to get?
The demonic caribou.
You want a gang name or something?
No, I mean that's. Yeah, you don't need another name. Okay, so now. Their movement is somewhere like between 15 to 24. I don't know. What's a snake? Poor snake, man. This thing is going to get trampled. Oh my gosh, and it might be surprised. Can you be surprised by 167 caribou? Whoa! You turn around the corner. What the? You walk in. That's why. Oh my God. If you surprise, it's worse to surprise them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, no, you need to run, but you got to run carefully.
Because if you surprise them, they get startled.
Right. You don't want to startle them.
And then they don't want to.
Well, this is interesting. Someone, Blindstein of the Mountain, said there was an interesting article in Dragon Magazine 1 that includes a combination of die rolls versus character attributes. So there you go. I mean, I've seen some of the other comments going back to the attribute things. I've seen, because there's plenty of game systems that you take your attribute and you roll, let's say, like typically you roll 3d6 to get your attribute. The more challenging, you roll 4d6. Less challenging, you roll 2d6. That kind of thing. You can do that as well. So.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. Let's start talking about this. So, the snake, what is going to be the... Should we first roll to see distance?
Well,
oh, no, surprise.
Well, yeah. Well, there has to be surprise first.
Correct.
Yeah, so we have to roll a d6. You're the interloper, right? I'm the champion.
I'm the cantalouper. Caribou loper.
Yeah. I'm the champ, so I'm the snake.
I'm the herd.
I'm a poisonous.
You know what the problem with herd animals is?
I was going to say, I thought what the problem with the show is, and I was going to say, well, we don't have time for that.
Well, that's a longer show. They have such a herd mentality.
They do. Such groupthink.
Hey, do you think I have herd immunity? I'm here all week.
Wow.
All right, I'm rolling.
Wow. And I got to play with you
rolling.
tonight? Awesome.
I'm going to be asleep for then.
Just drink some wine. The snake
6.
is not surprised.
I am not surprised. Okay, so I see. All
No,
right,
now,
so
it's,
the
now
snake
it's
sees-
distance.
Now it's distant, and that's going to make a difference.
Wow, they're pretty close. They are 50 yards away.
Oh boy. Okay. So now, all right. So I guess we're going to be startled at some point.
Well, I want to eat one demonic caribou.
Oh, you're right. You're slithering up.
Right.
You're gonna.
I'm picking off the weak. I've watched Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
You're right. You're right. And then when you do that, that's when we stampede.
That's when you stampede.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I agree.
So I'm
All right.
I'm going after the weak. I've been slithering into the demonic subarctic,
Yeah.
even though I'm probably frozen to death as a cold-blooded creature. But hey, that's another story. Why?
Yeah. That's another. That's another
That's
story.
neither here nor there.
So I'm like I'm like an old, decrepit
That's right.
demonic caribou.
The demonic snake lurks, waiting for his prey. The poor demonic caribou. They're all demonic. Yeah, that's how you make them scary. The demonic caribou, the grandfather, the old sage.
Yes.
Was telling a tale to his other little whelps, and all of a sudden he comes out and attacks.
Yeah, and the old caribou wonders why all the baby caribou are starting to slowly walk off.
Back away.
Where's everyone going? He thinks his story is so scary.
Exactly.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so it's initiative.
Okay. So now I'm just one poor caribou.
That's right. Your special attack is Stampede. That's
I'm with you. Okay.
I rolled a 3.
3.
Oh, simultaneous. Okay. So we said you're equal to a ram still, or is that what we said, or what is going to be?
Now us 3 hit die.
Okay.
Well, I'm an old man.
Okay, you're
caribou.
AC 6. That's what I care about.
Okay.
All right, AC 6. Poisonous snake. Ooh, pretty powerful. I like it.
You got poison.
Well, I strike the poor demonic caribou with a 16. So guess what you get to roll, caribou? You take 2 points of damage.
Okay. I assume it's save or die.
That's right. That's right, the ghost of David Attenborough. That's exactly.
Here it goes. What I like about our crowd, a 1E crowd knows exactly what Mutual of Omaha is.
Yeah, no, everyone else would be like, what? Huh?
Oh my gosh.
You rolled a 20?
No, the opposite.
Oh, you rolled a 1. All right.
I was weak. I was ready to go. I probably was about to die in natural causes anyway.
And then and everyone's like, wow, that's great, Grandpa. This is so dramatic. He's like,
Wow, the special effects are amazing. Grandpa's really getting into this.
I don't know how can they clap? Can they clap their hoofs?
They are. They don't see the snake behind it. They just see him kind of like ah.
They're clapping their hoofs. Hey, well done. Well,
And then like their mom, who's of course the daughter of Grandpa, comes over like, oh, what's going on? Kids, why didn't you tell me?
And now it's like the frog. The snake has got the head of the caribou. He's trying to, the antlers are sticking out of it. That's right.
So you know what? It's all right. Well, now it's all right. It's time to roll for stampede time.
Well, now
baby,
There's terror. So now it's initiative. The snake is not realizing what he's done.
Yes.
So we got to figure out. So he's gonna try to slither away. Obviously, if he can, he's gonna spit up his prey and try to run away.
Right. He's like telling the kids to be quiet. Shh.
Shh.
Quiet, kids. Shh.
No, he's like this.
It's all right. They're like, what? We don't understand.
Got Grandpa's leg
that snake
stuck out.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's that snake saying?
All right, so it's initiative. Ooh, I rolled a 6.
Right. Now, I've heard of party initiative, but this is herd
This
initiative.
is herd
right?
initiative. That's right.
Okay. A 4.
All right, well, he's going to try to slither away at 15.
Okay.
So now you're going to have to come up with the rules for this herd. Well, he's not slithering at 15. He's moving slower. He's taking Grandpa with him.
Exactly. He's got Grandpa. Right. Where's Grandpa going? Where's Grandpa? Yes, no, I'm definitely
Papa.
I'm definitely faster than you.
Well,
Let me
so
go,
are you going
kids.
to do a D8 to figure out which way the herd is going? And what?
Yes, okay, so let's talk. Yeah, what do you think? So I've got 167. So the question is, what would I think a D.
Well, the D8
Well, I
would be
don't
the
know.
cardinal thing.
Should it be less because I've got 167? I mean, that's a pretty big group.
Okay, so
You know?
here's this. Let's just say the snake is here, the herd is here. You could either argue they're going to go D8, right, as a herd, or you could do like a D4 because they're so large that the other cardinal northwest, southwest doesn't matter. And the 1 and 4, they're going to move towards the snake. If they move away from the snake, because they could panic the other way.
Oh, absolutely.
And they could panic north or they could panic south, which wouldn't do anything to him. It's only if they panic towards him that he's a dead man, in my opinion.
I think. What do you say? 1 in
4.
1 in 4 chance that he's there. The herd is stampeding in the direction of the snake.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I like.
So, all right. What number? All right.
Now, before this, I even hate to say it, but I have to show that we're paying attention. The Chamberlain Brandywine did remember divine intervention.
Thank you. Thank you. See, it's the herd mind.
You can't.
The herd.
When people go on iTunes, they can't blame us totally for this distraction.
Can I roll? Am I out?
Of course. No, you please do. Please.
Yes. Okay. Well, the problem is right now I've got there's a kitten.
You have a herd.
There's a kitten in the box. I do have a herd. Okay, I'm rolling. Well, look, it doesn't even. All right, so I'm rolling because we don't even know who's going to be divine intervention because we don't know who's dying yet.
Exactly.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm slow. He's saying divine intervention on Grandpa Caribou.
Correct.
Oh my gosh, he's right. Okay, kitten, I need you to. All right, do you need? Okay, all right.
I don't need
know
the cat. I don't need to watch it.
Yes, you do. You say that, but then you insult me and accuse me.
I've never insulted you. Well, I've insulted you, not about this, but I've just stated the fact that it seems to happen.
You're like, hey, Dan, when I insult you, you'll know it.
That's right.
If I was going to insult you, it's not. I'm not passive aggressive.
That's right.
You'll know it.
You suck. That's right.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. All right, kitten. I'm going to roll around the kitten. Oh, okay. He didn't like that. He's out of there. She didn't like. Okay, here we go. No, it's an 87. Okay, so no, poor Grandpa Caribou.
Surprisingly.
All those years and he doesn't even get any help. Okay, so now it's time for the die 4. Okay?
Yep.
We ready for this? A 1 means they're coming at you. Do we ever have a name for the snake?
No. We were going to call him Jake the Snake or Snake Plipskin. There was a few of them from last time. I don't think we ever...
Well, it may be over. Here we go. Okay, kitten.
So 1 is death, basically. Or 1 is they're charging towards him, and then we're going to give him a save.
Well, you guys are giving a save.
Yeah.
It says if you're stampeded, but I guess the save... Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Okay. I think 1 should be death.
Whatever. That's fine.
1!
Oh, God.
Can you see that?
I see it.
1!
So you want to give him a saving throw? You're the DM.
No, I don't want it. No, I do not.
Okay, then he's dead.
No, what do you think? We did all that discussion about saving throws.
Okay, well, you could also say if he saves, he has 1 hit point, that he somehow avoids instant death.
Okay, hang on. Let's talk about that. Humans or humanoids of about man's size or less.
Well, he's bigger than that, first of all. He's a large.
He is?
Yeah, snakes are...
Oh, he's large?
He's large.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he gets a save.
Yes, I like that.
Oh, okay.
He's large.
This kitten wants a reroll. Okay. So that's why. All right. So let's do that. Okay, he's large. So the question is, well, and I guess save also includes kind of chances of luck, right? Skill, all that stuff. I know you already talked about all that. Okay. So now this is what I think it should be. I think it should be a save versus paralyzation, and I'll tell you why. Does he freeze?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? How would you decide what category?
Well, I think there's explanations of the different saving throws. Did they have that somewhere?
Oh, I didn't know that. No, I did not. I didn't.
I don't know if it's in this one or not. I forgot. I didn't know you were going here, but it does make sense.
Saving throws. It represents a chance for the figure concerned to avoid the cruel results of fate. That kind of makes sense.
Yes.
I'm reading on page 80 under saving
Correct.
throws. It represents the chance for the figure concerned to avoid, or at least partially avoid, the cruel results of fate. Well, this certainly would be fate. By means of skill, luck, magical protections, quirks of fate, and the aid of supernatural powers, the character making his or her saving throw takes none or only part of the indicated results. The various saving throws are shown on the appropriate tables. So then the question becomes...
Well, I think you pick it based on what makes the most sense. So you could
What do you think?
Well, I like the idea of petrification or polymorph. I like the idea of breath weapon because they're trying to avoid something that's dexterous. Or the old death magic. See, to me, poison, paralyzation, or death magic, that's something that's striking your body and it's causing almost like a system shock. So...
Oh, right. Whereas breath weapon...
Breath weapon
Yeah,
is literally just, you're trying to avoid getting blasted by something.
Yeah, what are those asterisks? There's 2 asterisks next to breath weapon. And
Well,
where
that's
I don't
part of
see...
that's excluding. That's on the bottom of 79. Excluding
there it
those
is,
which
yeah.
cause petrification or polymorph.
Okay. So what do you think? I kind of like breath weapon.
The breath weapon's the hard one. Yeah, so that's good.
See, this is why I don't like using saving throws. Is I'm trying to cram this into a category, and there doesn't seem to be a very good fit. But okay.
Or save
What do you
versus
think?
death. I mean, you can go with the classic save versus.
Well, it's death magic. Everyone says death. It's death
Yeah,
magic.
that's true. They do. It does say death magic.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm with you. That's all kind of. I mean, I kind of like.
I like breath
all
weapon
right.
because it's the hardest for most players. It has the hardest one, but fighters have the
Okay.
best chance for it.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if that's what you. All right. All right. Let's go with. All right.
But,
We're going with.
but there's people saying save versus petrification, and again, the key thing about saving throws is you should. Even though it says certain death, players should always have a chance to avoid. It shouldn't be. There should always be the save or die. It shouldn't just be die, unless it's an obvious. You fell 5,000 feet or something like that. And even then, you could argue, well, they're heroic characters. There should always be a 5% chance that somehow miraculously you save.
But that would be going against the monster manual.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, monster manual says death.
Yes. Will be trampled to death.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well,
So
it
what do you-
says
what do you
well, it says humans and demi-humans, but what Gary Gygax and what the Chamberlain is pointing out is that yet because the player character is all important, he or she must always or nearly always have a chance, no matter how small, a chance to somehow escape what otherwise inevitable destruction.
No, that's interesting.
Many will not be able to do so, but the escapes of those who do are what the fabric of this game is created upon. So that's the idea.
It's kind of like the Indiana Jones kind
Correct.
of thing. So the stampede's coming, and he, I don't know, finds a rock or whatever, and
Exactly.
they're all jumping over him, that kind of thing.
Right.
The hero's a chance to live.
Right.
Okay.
Even if it's a 1, even if he needs a 20, he should have a chance to do that.
All right, DM.
All right.
Pick the category.
I'm picking. I'm going to go. I was been convinced. I'm going to go with petrification. I'm going to stick.
I kind of like that too, because you're kind of petrified.
Right.
Right?
And
It's like to avoid being petrified, like being able to move.
Right.
Are you just like, oh my God?
Well, it's a gaze attack too. You're trying to avoid it. This one, you're trying to avoid something. So I'm going with that.
Okay.
So
So now you have to use a monster saving
Yeah.
throw
So
here.
he's 4 hit. It's 4 hit dice. So 14.
Okay. So you're the snake.
Right.
So you're rolling it. So you need a 14. Or yeah.
There it is.
What is it?
17.
Oh, you made it?
I made it.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's hit. Whew, whew.
Oh man.
Well, what
You had a
happened?
chance-
What happened was the herd came and they crushed Grandpa, and he tucked himself underneath Grandpa.
Yes, Grandpa got trampled.
Trampled.
Grandpa's the real loser in this random encounter.
Right. And back to our pro tip. If you don't know what it is, just have them roll. I rolled the 17. He's probably going to save.
We didn't. Yeah. Now that if you had rolled first, then we would have known that the category would dictate it. So
Right.
I'm not. You know what I mean? So I'm not so sure.
I
would have liked that here.
Yeah. But I wouldn't even look it up. It's okay giving the category, but I wouldn't even look it up. Just roll it and see what happens. Because if you roll a 17, you're saved. If you rolled a 3, you failed. I don't care what you are.
And would this be okay to do? I think a lot of DMs would say, I'll give you a 20% chance.
Yeah, of course. I give you a 1% chance.
Or I'll do like the Stampede, I'll do it to hit. What's your AC? All those things are within the range of reasonableness, aren't they?
Thank you, Bucky. Grandpa got run over by demonic caribou.
He did. That's right. We have our random encounter. We have our Christmas song now.
That's it. That's our Christmas. I'm going to work on that.
Grandpa got run over. He got run over by his own herd.
by his own kin.
Fire.
By his own.
Yeah, friendly fire. Long live. Rest in peace, Grandpa. Grandpa, demonic caribou.
By his own kin.
Do you know how? I know the dice don't lie.
Yes.
And I just got to get over it. But you know how disappointed I am that the champ is not the demonic caribou herd?
Oh, now they're... Oh, wait, you know what? You want to talk about cynical people? They are saying because I rolled it on the book, I may have skewed it, like I had some kind of...
Yes, I was thinking that exact same thing. It was all tilty and it was like a boat. It's like rolling dice on like a boat in like choppy waters. See, because if you had done it normally, you would have rolled a 1, which always fails. Then it really wouldn't have mattered what
That's right.
table.
Oh, that's funny. No, he survives. He survives.
You know what this is?
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is? This is caribou shit, man.
Demonic.
This is demonic CS.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of CS, dude.
Well, I live with that all the time. So, okay. So we're done with this. The poisonous snake escaped.
No, I'm pouting for the rest of the show.
Oh, jeez.
Well, now we need a name for this. This caribou eater. So people need to think about a name, since I guess the snake is.
Come on, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Okay. All right.
All right. You said your piece. Objection is overruled. Sit down.
Case is over.
Stop litigating it. It's over.
Judgment has been entered.
Right. We've all gone home. Time to go. You don't have to go home. You just can't stay here. All right.
Well, here's the good news. I don't have to now look at buying an entire herd of stuffed animals.
That you have to color weird.
With the blood. There you go, Licious. I see you back there.
He's still there. Yeah.
He's sweet.
More
sweetie.
More stuff. What did I get here recently? I forgot. We have something here. Okay. Moving on. Spell selection.
All right. Say it again. Horse. TV. What? Man. Woman.
That's right. Elephant.
Okay. Spell selection.
I just know elephant. All right. Roll percentages.
Let's do it. So spell selection, of course, is where we do a random spell.
Yep.
We need to use the scroll percentile to figure out what it is. A 97.
Oh, so you're in the cleric land.
Okay. I like being in the cleric land. Now we're going to roll to see if it's a druid or a cleric spell.
That is correct. Druid or cleric spell.
I rolled an 82.
82.
I bet that's cleric, probably.
That is correct. It is cleric.
Okay. And so we have 7 levels. You want to roll for the level?
Okay, sure.
Sure.
See, we're back. We got over the caribou thing. See, we're back.
I've moved on. I move on pretty quickly.
That is a trait of yours that I admire. When it comes to trivial stuff, if someone slights you and you don't let that go. But other things like this, I'm not personally attacking the caribou, and it's not a reflection of you, so you let it go. You just move on. You're like, whatever.
I do.
I think that's a great trait. I rolled a 2.
Thank you. Okay, so it's second level. Oh, we're in my tower, my neck of the woods.
Yes.
Second level. I love it. So, do you know how many spells
there are? Well, I do
for
because I'm
clerics?
looking at it. I'm sorry. So.
Okay. There's 12. All right. So give it a roll.
All right.
Oh, I hope I know what it is. I know. I hope. But
5.
it's-
Hold person. That's a good one.
Okay.
Hold person.
Not bad.
Well, not bad. It is probably the best. Well, it's up there for the top 2 clerical spells.
What's the other one?
Silence,
what's the other
silence
one?
15-foot radius would be the other one.
Yes, that's a very good one. I think no alignment's kind of entertaining.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying if I had to go to the dungeon
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
and I
no.
play the game that I play with the people that I play with, I want to be able to silence and hold person. No alignment's good, slow poison's good, but
Do you know what my favorite is of these 12? Can you guess?
let me look.
Mm-hmm. No, you may.
Number 11.
Oh, actually, you might be right. That is a good one. I do like that. I was actually thinking of Augury.
Oh,
I
Augury
really
is,
like Augury.
yes,
Underused.
It is underused, and it's but however, you have to roll for us to talk about that. So
That's true.
we can't talk about that.
Okay.
It's
hold
not
person.
because if you want Dan, I will say this: if you're willing to put the time and to make a list of Dan's spells that you're interested in, we could roll on that table.
No, because this forces me to, like, let me give you an example. Let's say that we had rolled, I don't know, a spell that I really have no interest in. Let's say, like, hold person.
Right.
Just hypothetically.
That's right.
This would force me to learn about hold person. And look, do you remember how we used to feel about push and mend?
Well, I still feel that way, but it has some redeemable qualities thanks to our listeners. That's right.
Almost got used last night, which I won't give away anything,
That's
but
right.
that was funny.
That
right?
was
I was
funny.
like that. I was gonna be like, yeah, you win automatically. Just hand him the trophy.
This show, if anything, has the only one thing it's done is rehabilitated push and mending.
A renaissance.
They were consigned to the ash bin of history for spells. Some of the worst spells you could ever. You get a scroll of mending and no one is jumping for joy. But now, because of the show, it's been rehabilitated. I agree.
Yes, indeed. So push and mend have us to thank. Okay, hold person, second level, cleric spell.
Page 45 in the Player's Handbook. Go ahead.
This spell, correct. This spell holds immobile and freezes in place. Oh, so this is why you like it. From 1 to 3 humans or humanoid creatures for 5 or more melee rounds. The level of the cleric casting the hold person spell dictates the length of time the effect will last. So the duration is 4 rounds plus 1 round per level. The basic duration,
Which of course
is 5
doesn't make any sense because you can't be first level to cast this. So that already is problematic.
Oh, you're right. The basic duration is 5 melee rounds. But that's correct. You can't be... Well, no, wait a second. Not true.
Okay.
You know that's not true.
Okay.
Why? I can cast it at first level.
You can? How can you cast it first level?
Can I cast it from a scroll?
You can't. Yeah, but then it's cast at the level of the person who put the scroll on.
Oh, touche.
Yeah. Got to call.
So
Got to
you're right.
Got to call Jody. Find out.
Jody screwed up.
No.
Put that on the list of typos to ask
Why she?
Jody
Why?
about.
It's more of why did she didn't have the moral fortitude? What was going on in her life at that moment when she was typing the sentence that she didn't feel brave enough to tell Gary they can't be first level to cast this?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because remember the first time she corrected Gary, that didn't go well.
Yeah, that's true.
She was dissuaded. We're just making this
Well,
up.
we have no idea. She didn't say anything about it.
she's like, I'm not paid to like.
I think that would
change
be
this stuff."
one of the TSR dramas, you know, because all these companies like Amazon and Apple are making their own movies. This would be the AD&D transcripts. Forget about Jody Lynn Nye's illustrious career. We would just do like a 12-part series of her typing up the manuscripts.
Sounds like that's PBS.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not ABC or NBC, right? Or it's not Netflix. We should do an AD&D movie. Like we've getting all these interviews and we've getting this information and and Jody Lynn Nye.
That's right.
As Jody Lynn Nye. Skip Williams as
Skip
Williams. Right?
That's right.
And
Tim Kask as Tim Kask.
Tim Kask as Ernie Gygax. and Ernie Gygax as
Tim
Tim
Kask.
Kask. We can't even get him to play in our tournament. I don't know that we can get him in our movie, but we should. Yeah, that would be great, though, right? We should approach them.
They're in our movie. They don't have we have 6 hours. We have hours of videotape already. We've recorded them. We could just put them in from our video.
Oh, we'll use things they said and splice it
That's
together.
Right.
We'll get. Yeah, we should do the AD&D movie. This would be good.
I
like it.
I know why you think it'll be good, because what are you doing on this movie?
No, I'm telling you what to do.
That's exactly right. You do nothing in this. I would have to
You should do this. You should do that.
That's right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Can we do GROGTALK the movie? GROGTALK the movie.
I'm going to make a trailer for that, just so you can.
You should. You should. No, we got to do a trailer of AD&D the movie.
Okay.
Right, like Jody Lynn Nye? I don't know.
Okay, let me write this down.
More work. Oh, did I tell you this is my last episode?
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Okay. All right, whole person. So, yes, you have corrected me. I thought I was all
I've not corrected you. I've just clarified.
No, you did. You were right to do it. It's the truth is what matters. I was all like, oh, you can cast at first level. You can, but you're right. It's as the level. So that doesn't make any sense. Okay. If the spell is cast at 3 persons, each gets a saving throw at the normal score. If only 2 persons are being enspelled.
That's a great word.
It is. Enspelled. That should be the name of our movie.
Enspelled? Enspelled, The Secrets of GROGTALK, because someone put Secrets of GROGTALK. Enspelled. The
Secrets of GROGTALK. Mm-hmm. Maybe that'll be Griff's next project.
Yeah.
Yeah, doubtful. It could be.
Well, if he wants to lose money, he could.
Yeah.
He could do that.
Because we don't come cheap.
No, exactly.
You know, and I need only blue M&Ms. If only 2 persons are being enspelled, each makes their saving throw at -1 at their die. If the spell is cast at but 1 person's saving throw die is at -2. Persons making their saving throws are totally unaffected by the spell. Creatures affected by a hold person spell are. So here we go. Anytime you list the creatures.
That's right.
You know where I'm going with this.
Oh
don't
yeah,
you?
and they've been blowing up the chat about this. This has been going on for a while.
How the additional creatures
Yeah,
as it
what
expands?
is a person? Is the basically.
Well, because it says creatures are brownies, dryads, dwarves, elves, gnolls, gnomes, goblins, half-elves, halflings, half-orcs, hobgoblins, humans, kobolds, lizardmen, nixies, orcs, pixies, sprites, and troglodytes. Can you repeat those without looking at them?
Oh, brownies, dryads, it's like a song, like they used to teach
You did pretty good. You got brownie dryads. You were going
that was
well.
about it.
The spellcaster needs a small, straight piece of iron as the material component of this spell. So the question is look, I know your method of your method of jurisprudence.
That's right.
Your method of textual interpretation is well known by listeners and viewers of the podcast, and it is you are a strict constructionist. You are a textualist, are you not?
An originalist, is that the same thing?
Well, originalist is a little different. Originalist is that it's based upon what you think the drafter intended.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be strict.
Right.
So you can be an originalist and not be strict about
True.
it.
So yes, I'm a textualist. Yes. So what does the text say? And actually, I learned that from you because I've parsed the words with more intensity and more scrutiny than I used to, thanks to your skills. So
and so your view has been if it's excluded, it's out.
Correct.
So we don't fill in gaps. You don't imply a lot of terms.
Correct.
If any. You're not big on this. Well, I shouldn't say you're not big on the spirit, but when you have a list.
Right.
So if you had the fee, so the fights are going to become, of course, when you have a look. It seems to me quite clear, don't you think? If you are asking for a creature in the monster manual to be covered by the whole person's spell, and it is not listed in the creatures affected, it's not affected because the monster manual was already out. Right? I mean that's 77, right? Player's Handbook 78. If I got my dates right.
Correct.
But now, do we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay.
If this is why if you just use the Holy Trinity, you would be fine.
Right.
It's when you expand and put other things, that's when you have the problem.
And one of the problems too is that I think a lot of the fun of D&D was creating your own monsters.
Yes.
So it's not right. So even if you were just using the Holy Trinity, it would be very strange to wag the finger at somebody for creating their own monster. I mean, in many respects, even if you were doing the Holy Trinity, that wouldn't mean that you wouldn't use the Fiend Folio. It would just be like a suggestion, right? I mean, it gives you ideas of additional monsters. So that's where things get complicated. And I assume it's right. So how would you play that? Would you, if it's a Fiend Folio monster or a Monster Manual 2 monster, are they not included? That seems a little harsh because they're not even around at the time of the player's handbook.
Correct.
And so what would you do?
So what I would do, and what I've done before, is I look at the list, and what's interesting too is here it says, creatures affected by hold person spell are : it makes it very clear that this is the list. It's
right. It's not like such as or includes, right, but not limited to.
So I would definitely say this is the list, and unless there is language that was done later. So for instance, in the book that shall not be named, it talks about giant class and expands the giant class for rangers, and it includes other creatures in there. Right?
Right.
Right. So if they had the opportunity to adjust that if they wanted to.
I understand so the argument you're making is that I'm just repeating exactly what you said. They had the opportunity and they didn't do it.
That's right.
Therefore, it's reasonable to infer that they did not intend. And I assume they being Gary Gygax.
That's right. Correct. And so you could argue, well, it wasn't that big a deal. So that's the one argument. If you're creating your own monsters, which then goes back to, as a DM, you would then have to adjudicate that the Baki, just making up a name, they are a demi-human akin to, or a humanoid akin to a lizard man, and thus they would be under that. Because what you want to avoid is making hold person more powerful than, because there is a more powerful spell, hold monster, which is a magic user spell, which allows you to hold all kinds of creatures.
So why does the magic user get to hold monsters, but the cleric only gets to hold persons?
Yeah, because they're better. And it's a 5th level magic user spell. It's a much more powerful spell.
Yeah.
So that's how I would normally rule it. Now, you could talk about the Flind or the Agrillion, or whether it's the Drugar or the Drow. Now, again, they have magic resistance. You start getting into that area.
Yeah, what about, because you've got, what the Agrillion is an ogre-orc hybrid.
Right. Now, ogre is not listed. Orc is listed.
It's not.
Now, Drow is an elf, so it would be listed. So you could cast, because it's an elf, right? It says brownies, dryads, dwarves, elves. Drugar are dwarves, so I would say they are part of it.
What's interesting is everybody is fairly small. What's the largest creature on here?
Gnolls.
Gnolls. So yeah, okay, because gnolls are like what, around 7? Are gnolls around 7 feet?
Right. They're pretty tall. 7 feet. Sounds about right.
Okay. So I was just trying to figure out if there's any method or any sort of theme to this list. I mean, they're all. No, it's not size based. I mean, because you got the gnoll.
Yeah.
All the way from pixie and sprites all the way up to gnoll. Okay. It is what it is. I mean, it sure would be.
Yeah, a gnoll is 7 foot tall. So that's and so that would be the textualist way, where you're saying, look, if it's not on the list, so sad, too bad. If you're making your own guys or gals, you could go through them and kind of figure out if they apply to this or not. What you get into the trouble with is in the Fiend Folio or the Monster Manual 2, where they have creatures, and then you have to decide a couple of things. A, do you want to allow them? Are they in the vein of a humanoid? Does it even say humanoid in their description?
No, and you know what? It doesn't. And I opened up the Fiend Folio.
Okay.
And I just happened to open up, and you know what was on this page? Norker.
Norker. Yeah, it's another one.
And a Norker is a far distant relative of a hobgoblin.
Right.
The hobgoblin is listed,
Correct.
and the Norker is much smaller. And so everything would suggest a Norker could be held, but the DM would have to make... I got to tell you, if I was a DM, I would say yes on the Norker. So I would say it's a distant relative to the hobgoblin. It's smaller. It's after the monster manual. Yeah, it just would seem weird that a whole person spell wouldn't hold a Norker.
Yep. And it also says in here, this is where, in all respects, they are similar to hobgoblins. Well, hobgoblins are thing. It's on the bottom of 68.
Can I just say that I don't think we need Norkers?
No.
But that's a different
Right.
discussion, isn't
That's
it?
true. Well, like the
We don't- why do we need-
Flind, which is on page 39.
Yeah, why do we need a Flind? Relatives of gnolls.
Right. So for me, the relatives of gnolls, they could be held.
Yes, so the Flind could be, yes.
Because it says they are powerful humanoids, and humanoid creatures see below. So if there is some tie-in to the races or things that are in here, I think the other parameter is the size and power of the monster. Some of the discussions about like Minotaur and Ogre Magi, they're much more larger creatures and more powerful.
Yeah.
They have to be held monster.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So tell me what you like about this spell.
What?
You said you think it's great.
Well,
for second level.
for second level, because what is the most powerful creature that you're going to fight as a party? By far.
Wait, ever?
Ever.
Wait, ever?
Save the deities.
Lich?
Right, and when a lich was what? At once.
Magic user.
Which is a character.
Person.
Right, person. Persons are the most powerful enemies you can fight. An enemy party is way more deadly than 20 orcs, as an example.
So it wasn't Lich.
Well, Lich is part of it. Yeah, I would say.
No, I like it. No, you're using like the Socratic method on me.
Yes.
I felt like I was,
Yeah. So so this doesn't say if you're against a 15th level magic user, it doesn't work. So if you.
But you get the save.
You do get the save, but at -2 if you do it against one person.
Oh.
And if they're
I see
held, that's it. They're done. You just took out
Yes.
the most powerful enemy.
Oh, because then I can kill him.
Right, he's dead. Well, assuming he doesn't have a globe of invulnerability or some other thing, which you would hope a 15th level magic user would have. Hold person is the bane of fighters. That is the.
But what I do is I find him in the marketplace.
That's right.
He's shopping for the bread.
That's right.
His back's turned.
Well, he just summoned Vaprak, and he's just picking up the pieces after Vaprak and the Tarask went through the village, and he's just, he's always troubled with the crowds because of the pandemic, so he unleashed Vaprak. He's cleaned out the area. Now they're going in.
Can he get rid of?
Yeah, get rid of the oi polloi.
Get rid of it. I'm sorry, but I interrupted. You said it's something about the bane of fighters.
They are hold person is the bane of fighters, because they have terrible saves versus spell. Hold person's a second level spell. They have at -2. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you are a third level party going against a third level cleric. You are a third level fighter who is maybe 30 hit points, great armor class. He needs, if you cast it on him at a -2 to save, assuming he has no other bonuses to save, he needs an 18 to save.
So this would be I'm a half orc. And you know what multi-class I'm going to be?
That's right.
Can you see it come?
Cleric assassin.
Can you see it come? You got it.
That's right. Shocking.
So the whole person for the cleric assassin. That's right. So the 24. Okay. Can we do? So this will just be a one-off segment. This won't be a recurring one.
Okay.
But assassinating the 21st level magic user in the market. So you're the 21st level magic. You're buying bread.
Right.
Your back is turned.
Right. Well, there's a little problem with being 21st level, but yes, go ahead.
What's the problem?
His saving throw is a 4.
No, I know, but it's only on one.
That's right.
So that's -2, right?
Yeah, so that's 1. So,
So
6.
you need a
He needs a
6.
6.
No, but your point is well taken.
Right.
If you think about, you're right. A 6 is not hard to make, but if you think about it, it's kind of crazy that there is now what a
30%.
25%,
Right.
a 1 in 5,
1 in 4.
a 25%
1 in
chance
4.
that I'm now going to be able to take out a 21st level magic user.
Correct.
Do you know the payday on that?
That's right. Oh, well, we could look up the payday on that.
It's you. How much am I going to get paid if this happens? Because I'm sick of this magic user coming into the marketplace and like summoning monsters, and basically the town has hired me.
Well, if you're a 5th level assassin, you know what's depressing? If you kill a 16th level or higher creature, you get 1,500 gold pieces.
What? You know what the problem? Because there's a glut in the market. There's too many assassins.
Well, I'm sure it's the problem is, well, if you're 15th level, if you're the Grandmaster, it's 250,000. This is a multi-level marketing scheme. Basically, it's probably 250,000, but once you pay all the people above you, you only get 1,500.
Yeah, it's not based upon you're right, it had to come down through me.
That's right.
Everyone's taking their cut.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like Amway or whatever, right? You everyone got their 3 or 4% on top of everything. By the time it gets to you, you get 1,500.
So it's like with Bourne, when they're trying to kill Bourne, and just the guy is just like he's like sitting in Italy somewhere with a moped, and he gets a message.
That's right.
So I'm the half orc, cleric assassin.
You're sitting in the bar. That's right. You drink.
I was going to say praying, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm in the bar praying.
Yes.
I'm in the bar. Yeah, I'm in the bar. And I don't know, what's that one thing? I get some sort of, I don't know how I'm going to, so some little mouse runs in or something and gives me this message or whatever. I don't know, right? Take out. All right, so I'm on the job. I'm heading to the market.
Okay.
I'm ready to do it.
So you're going to try to kill a 21st level magic user.
Yes, I'm a 5th level. Well, I can only be 4th level cleric.
That's right.
5th level assassin. I'm going to the marketplace.
What's your wisdom?
You're buying. My wisdom is, well, I'm a half orc. My wisdom is 9.
So you have a spell failure chance too.
Yeah, of course, 20%.
Okay, I'll be the 21st level magic user in the market.
You're feeling. Look at how smug you look. You feel pretty confident. You're just gonna be like, so wait, what you're gonna do? Like, we've done these spells before. Like, what are you? You're just gonna go pew. What did we do previously? Where you just like kill me?
Power word kill would be that would be my go-to. But
so you're gonna feel like this stab in the back, and you're just gonna turn around, and you're just gonna go pew.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going. Ready?
All right.
So what do I?
Well, I'm gonna even give you that you're sitting in the market and you try to cast Hold Person on me.
That's right. That's what I'm doing.
All right, so I'm going to make a roll.
Wait, should I do spell failure first? Because it doesn't.
Yeah, you have to make a spell failure. Absolutely.
All right, here you go. Let me roll. 20% chance, I think, at 9 wisdom.
That's right. Yep, we know that.
83,
okay,
my friend.
So got through. All right, here's. I'm using the same thing, cockeyed thing, and that's assuming as a 21st level magic user, I have no rings of protection, no nothing.
Well, you were at the market. You had your guard down.
Right.
All right.
I rolled a 15.
Oh, hey, excuse me. I'm sorry.
So,
what bread would you recommend? Is that? I was just looking over your shoulder there.
In fact, I'm not even going to use my power word kill. I would just say he uses magic missile. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21. He shoots 11 magic missiles at you.
Talk about the herd stampeding. It's another day in the market. People are running. They're ducking under tables. The herd is stampeding. It's chaos.
But the point of that is that if you had no chance, a fourth level assassin literally almost has no chance. A party like that has no chance. You have at least a 20, like you said, a 1 in 4 chance of ending a big. You fight the big bad guy, hold person. You want your monsters to have a chance against the enemy party or against the party. Have a witch doctor. Well, now again, technically, witch doctors shouldn't have hold person because they list the spells. But sometimes have, like you said, if you go against the orc tribe, have a half orc cleric assassin or cleric fighter cast hold person.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I like this idea of being a cleric assassin with and then the great thing about it is you pick your spells each day. So I'm picking. Yeah, we should do. Can we do an episode on just the cleric assassin and like what spell, like advice for the cleric assassin, how to assassinate with cleric, how to kill with cleric spells, how to assassinate with, because
Yeah.
there's some good ones here, I think, don't you think?
Okay. Can we move on?
Okay. Yes.
So that's why Hold Person is my favorite spell for cleric 2nd level.
It's a good spell.
Followed by Silence 15-foot radius, because you can target, again, in the traditional way of a party, the big bad guy's in the back. You can't get to him, except with missile, which can be problematic. You cast a Hold Person, it ends the. All of a sudden, you go from we're in big trouble because there's a 6th-level magic user to, okay, now we got time to deal with him. Or if you're running as the DM, your party, your monsters having trouble with the fighters. They have good armor, a lot of hit points. You hit them with this, they have a very hard chance to save, and then you're doing automatic attacks, as if you recall, or instantly killing them, depending on what's going on.
Yeah, and so this is, well, yeah, you're not competing against any of the cure light. There's no curing.
Right, slow poison would
slow
be the only
poison.
thing that would be there.
Yeah. Okay.
But silence is also good too, which is we're not talking about. But those would be the 2 spells when I was a cleric that I would have. Though if I knew I was running with you, if you were the DM, I would definitely have an augury as well because you'd be very generous with it. So.
And speak with animals.
Yes, that's right.
And okay. Who takes Detect Charm?
Nobody.
Okay, whatever. Nobody.
Nobody.
That's very situational. I mean, who wakes up this morning and be like, yeah, I may need to Detect Charm.
Right. Yeah, the classic cast silence on a coin or a pebble. You roll it down.
You can do it on an object.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, that's right, of course, because everyone casts it. That's what they do, and then you move along with it. And so, that's right. So as the assassin, I can do silence.
Yes.
So what am I taking? Silence, 15-foot radius, the 2 spells that you pointed out. Those were great spells for the cleric assassin.
Of course.
The silence and the Hold Person.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. We really need to do an assassination adventure, don't you think?
Just assassinate people?
Yeah,
well, it's a friendly game, absolutely. Just totally murder everyone.
No, just one person.
All right.
Like the prince. Okay.
Are we doing the Have You Ever? Are we ready for Have You Ever?
I hope so.
Because there are a lot of people on, and I think people like this thing. At least that's what I'm telling myself.
As opposed to what we've been doing. Yes. And I have written here that I'm down to 6 hit points. So this is, have you ever played a wizard in the heart of a hobgoblin lair? This was by Cameron Munn and our good friend Kelly Villamere. It was in their magazine, First Encounter magazine, back in the day. A Canadian magazine. No, we got Canadians.
That's right.
Canadian magazine.
Up the Canadians.
And so this is basically where it tests your skill playing a particular character class. We did a fighter illusionist gnome. You're now on to a magic user.
Oh, by the way, back to the Hold Person. It doesn't work on undead. They're not.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah. Okay.
They're dead.
Okay.
Even if they're undead humans, they're still dead.
So is this like a philosophical question?
Well,
is
yes.
a dead person a person?
Yes, a dead person is dead. Just ask. Yeah.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Can you have undead in hell? Or are they all dead?
No, you definitely have undead in hell.
Okay, they're not, because I thought maybe either you're dead. I thought undead are like just in the negative material plane.
Well,
or it's coming from them.
Well,
they're not only. I mean, skeletons are here.
Undead in the abyss because they're in Q1, but also in under devil. Oh wow, we're just out of control.
What was that review again? What did that iTunes review say?
So the only reason, because I read this recently under Lemur or Lemur. Lemur.
Yeah.
I don't know how you say it. Page 23.
Those are the blob things?
The human blobs, right.
Right.
And after being in hell for a certain time, lemurs will be chosen to form wraiths or specters. So then the question is, where do they get formed?
Oh. After being in hell for a time. I saw that on Dragon's Foot because I researched this question, and somebody said that there was a reference in Devils, and I couldn't find it. I wasn't thinking to look specifically under one of the creatures. So, okay, you're right. That's very interesting.
Unless they pull the lemurs out and
Oh.
They take them to the negative material plane and they put them together there. I don't know.
Yeah, I see. You're right. That doesn't necessarily mean they stay there.
Yes, and also Orcus is the prince of the undead, and so he definitely has undead. So in the Abyss, they definitely have undead.
So in other words, and once you're in the Abyss, yeah, because because the Abyss is the same concept of if you're in the Abyss, when you die, you go to the Abyss.
Well,
I mean, if you're chaotic evil.
Correct. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay, so that seems to be pretty good support that you can have undead in these planes.
Yeah.
In these, right? Okay, it's not just. I mean, it's. What would we call? Well, what is? So in other words, it's not just the negative material plane or whatever.
Right.
Well, you could certainly have them in the prime material plane.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Whatever. So, so this is where you will go on a little adventure and you will encounter things and you have to decide what to do. So now, as you may have recalled, you're out for revenge.
Yes, which is, and everyone loves this guy, this magic user. He's chaotic evil.
Somebody pointed that out. How on Twitter, how it's just so casually mentioned. That and what's great is he's got push. So you got protection from evil, push, haste, detect invisibility. You got a bunch of spells. You've posted it, so I don't need to go over it all. So they've taken your ring. The hobgoblins have taken your ring.
You're marching find it for people. Yeah, there you go.
You're marching through the swamp, looking for the hobgoblin lair. The first one we did last week, you ran into a will-o-wisp, which they're nasty.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, I'm down to 6 hit points. Do you remember how many hit points? You're down very far too. You should have. I think was this one where you should have died?
Yes, I should have died, but his math is not that great apparently.
Yeah, and then, so all right, so you're pulling that up for people.
Yeah, for those playing, that's where you get your Twitter. That is who you are. I've just posted that for folks just to remind them if they want to play along.
Yep, and hopefully you remember how many hit points you have. Yes, you are Elron Baroon. Elron Baroon. Yes,
I love it.
I always read everything backwards because now I think, because that's what Gary did, right? Nurab. Now it doesn't seem to be anything. It's not like Villamir backwards.
Yeah, I don't see it as something. Yes, I have 12 hit points.
Yeah, that's a rip. I have 6. Okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
After disposing of the will-o'-the-wisp and getting out of the gruesome swamp, you proceed up into the Kartalov Hills to the entrance of the Skull Crusher Hobgoblin lair. Oh, is that? I heard you sigh.
Squirrel.
You know what I'm doing because you're doing it too.
Yes, we're looking for the names of the traditional Hobgoblin things.
I love those names. Like I love the orc names.
Skull Smashers, Marrow Suck page 52. Rippers, Leg Breakers, Skull Smashers, Flesh Renders, Marrow Suckers, Flayers, and Slow Killers.
Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. I love that. And so this was the, what was this? This was the Skull Crushers. So yeah, oh wait, it says Skull
Smashers. Crusher.
No, it's a Skull Smasher.
Well, the Canadian version of it. It's kind of like,
yes.
Yeah, the U.S. one is Skull Smashers. The Canadian branch is the Skull Crushers.
Right, exactly. A little bit different. All right, so this is the Canadian offshoot.
That's right. Or maybe they were the original, and we're hard to say, but they're just different.
It's a matter of controversy.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, so Canadian. You're going after Canadian hobgoblins.
Canadian hobgoblin.
The Canadian hobgoblins. Suddenly you hear voices. It's this way. No, it's not. Look at the map.
It's this way.
Landon. No. So now I got to do. Okay, fine. Is this way? No, it's not. Look at the map, Landon. As we're hurting our Canadian peers. Shall we make fun of other nationalities too, or should we just stop with Canada? And you know what the funny thing about it is?
Always a Skull Crusher, never a. That's right.
We're making fun of Canadians. We're Americans.
That's right. Hey. Well, that's why we're Americans, because we make fun of them.
Right.
That's why we're oblivious. Come on.
That's right.
That's
okay.
People know that.
As you approach the crest of a hill, you see 2 of those foul, elvish. Oh, wait, what? This has gotten interesting. As you approach the crest of a hill, you see 2 of those foul, elvish people discussing something.
Wow. That's racism.
Right?
Dirty elves. That's.
Ouch. Kelly's going. He's going dark. He's gotten very dark. I'm sorry, I got to change the voices now.
That's right.
I did Hobgoblin, then I did Canadian. This is the third one. I'd be flighty. Look, Glendon.
Those are French Canadians. The elves are French Canadians.
Canadians are elves, yes. Look, Glendon, it says right here on the map that if we can get in through the graveyard, we'll be able to surprise the hobgoblins. Realizing that this map is exactly what you need, you decide. This is terrible. What's wrong with Kelly? You decide to attack them somehow, and you notice they are armed with short swords and are 10 feet away. We're killing elves?
We snuck up on them.
This is rough.
Yeah.
I don't approve of this. You look at you're smiling. You're like, this is getting good.
There's only one thing better. If I would have been running it, who would those two be?
No.
Exactly.
Right. Should I?
Hey, we have the map into the graveyard. Really? What she? Ah!
Who would have thought herd animals would be here?
That's right.
Should I write an adventure where you get to play kobolds?
Yes. That would be
Destroying gnomes.
Slaughter them.
Here we go. So.
All right. Pay attention, folks.
Yeah. So you see two foul elvish
Two
people.
foul elvish.
All right.
Wow. This is dark. Okay.
This is dark. It's gone dark. This was near the end of the run of First Encounter, where Kelly was getting disillusioned. That guy hadn't paid him back his $20 or whatever.
Exactly.
Remember?
Yeah, exactly. It was like $20.
All right. B1. Cast slow spell on the elves, then attack with dagger. I don't know. A magic user attacking with dagger just doesn't strike me.
No experience points, bad performance.
Exactly. 4 or whatever it is.
You get a 4.
B2. Cast lightning bolt spell on the first elf, then attack the other with a dagger. Yeah, nothing says fun like casting a lightning bolt at an elf.
Oh, okay.
B3. Cast sleep spell on them. Oh, okay. Shh. Don't say it, James. Shh. Don't help anyone.
I already picked 3. I'm already picking 3.
The O'Gorman rule.
That's right.
Oh, wait. Cast 3. Cast sleep spell on them. Then go up and kill them with your dagger.
Like it. I'm totally doing that.
4. Cast polymorph spell and turn into an elf. Then attack with dagger after gaining surprise.
Ooh, that's good too.
That's a good one. That's kind of the equivalent. That's kind of the equivalent of like speak with animals when you're a gnome or whatever.
Good.
Right?
There's a few good ones here.
Kelly's at the top of his game. He got out at the top of his game. B5. Use Ring of Invisibility on self. Attack them behind with dagger.
Nah.
B6. Cast Magic Missile spell at the elves. 2 at each elf. Then attack with dagger if they still live. Oh, that's a Magic Missile is always. It's never out of style, is it?
It's classic.
It is a classic. B7. I mean, like Push it came and went in terms of its. I mean, I think like the early '90s Push was very popular.
Exactly.
But Magic Missile's always been okay.
I agree.
7. Read the Protection from Evil Scroll. Okay, well, what do these elves look like? Read the Protection from Evil Scroll, then attack them with your dagger. So 7 is Protection from Evil Scroll.
Okay.
8. Read the Haste Scroll on yourself. Oh, you've told me. And then quickly attack. You've told me you love the Haste spell.
Yeah, unless you have to do the system shock for aging, then it sucks. But assuming you don't have to do that, then yes.
That controversy.
Yeah, he is 17 con. I would do it.
It's aging. Haste ages you.
Yeah,
right?
it ages you a year.
I think, didn't we decide?
I know.
System shock?
My players would revolt, but I agree with you.
Come on, system shock's easy to make. People shouldn't complain. Yeah. Those percentages are high. 9. Oh, I like this one. Cast Fireball spell on them. Yeah. If they still survive, attack with dagger. Oh, wait a second. They're holding a map, aren't they?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that.
You're being too helpful.
I am. B10. Attack immediately with your dart. Then charge in with your dagger.
All right.
Now, the nice thing... All right.
Slow, lightning, sleep spell, polymorph, invisibility, magic missile, protection from evil, haste, fireball, or dart.
Well, I have to tell you, my decision is going to be dictated in large part by the fact that I only have 6 hit points. So I really need to avoid melee.
Right.
I'm going to go with B6. I'm sorry. I want to live. I'm going with the classic magic missile.
All right. Well, at B6 is Dan. This is an interesting one. Because as you pointed out, which some may have not known, B9 is problematic.
Yes. Well, you get to say what paper. Hang on. Let's see. Don't despair, folks. Let's see what paper parchment. Yeah. What time is it?
Yeah.
Paper parchment versus fireball, because it would get a save.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because it would have luck based upon divine intervention.
Well,
all that
and the way
business.
you read it is if the elf saved, you wouldn't have to make a saving throw for the parchment.
Is that true?
Well, of course it is.
Well, why is that true?
Because it says it in Fireball. You don't have to.
I did not know that.
You don't have to save for your items unless you fail.
Very interesting. So even if you get, and even if you make your save, it's half damage. But okay, so no items. So that's good to know. I learned something more.
Yes, blah 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 blah. Those who blah blah.
You got after you do that, you have to look up the saving throw for Parchment versus Fireball.
It's
hilarious.
22?
Yeah, 25.
Okay.
It's the only one above 20. That's hilarious. No, you're right. There's a 21 against magical fire. There's only 2 that are above 20.
Disintegrates.
It's a 25.
Yeah, 25. So, by the way, it says on page 73, just in case anyone doubted, items exposed to spells effects must be rolled for it to determine if they are affected. Items with a creature which makes its saving throws are considered as unaffected.
Got it. Okay. So there you go.
So that's why failing a fireball save sucks. Even if you survive, then all your stuff is exposed to damage. And there's been many times the character survives, but his longsword becomes, just like in our playtest.
Right. That's absolutely right. So you need to think carefully. We need a public service announcement before firing a fireball. Yes.
So we got David Thompson is with you, Dan. So that.
Oh, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, that's.
Oh. Yeah.
He must be drinking if he's going with you. Anyone else want to pick? Now would be the time. Put your numbers. 1 is slow with dagger. 2 is lightning with dagger. 3 is sleep spell, then attack. 4 is polymorph into elfin attack. 5 is invisible with dagger. 6 is magic missile. 7 is protection for evil attack. 8 is haste and attack. 9 is fireball. And 10 is dart and dagger. Correct?
Well, I was assuming you were right.
Yes, I'm right. So if you want to play along, now would be the time. Put your things in. Okay, so Brian is going with B1. That's pretty good. I really want to do B3 because I think it's awesome. Ooh, Retro Ray's doing 3. Okay, now I don't have to do 3.
The problem with 3 though. Well, they've okay.
Oh, Aggie's on. Hey, Aggie. Hopefully you had a chance to hear your.
Why did you call her? She's the.
I apologize. Yes, she is. Welcome.
Well,
the commander, her sage supremacy Grand Duchess, the poisoner protector of the Waterways of Indiana. Welcome.
Yes. B squared.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to pick, because it sounds fun, B2.
The lightning bolt.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Okay. All right, do we feel like everyone's in?
Retro Ray did sleep and attack. Oh, Josh is doing the Enslaver of Indiana is doing B2 as well. He's sticking with me.
Okay.
Brian. Menion's doing Magic Missile. He's with you guys.
Very
so
popular.
The Far East Empire, in relation to us, no offense for you all, we would be the Far East. They're in with you. All right, I think we're ready.
Okay, so what was B1?
Slow and dagger.
Did anyone take that?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yes, Brian did.
Okay, Brian, the spell helps. Take only 2 hit points of damage in melee.
Oh, that's good.
I'm assuming that means that you killed them.
Yes, they're dead.
Slaughtered the elves.
That's right.
And have the map.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. All right, B2.
B2 is lightning and dagger.
Okay. Lightning bolt destroys the first elf, and you take 1 hit point of damage from melee with the second elf.
Like it.
This guy's pretty good in melee. For a magic user. What was it? His level? He's pretty high level, though, isn't he?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's hard to say. I'm trying to look, and I don't see it. But
yeah, level 8.
He's 8th level. Yeah, and he's got.
He has a 15. Yeah, 15 strength.
And he's got +2 dagger. So yeah,
He has a 17 con.
Yeah. That's why he has so many hit points. That's why he had started with whatever 20-something.
That was really tough for him to choose. He was so talented.
Right.
Because he could have been a darn good fighter. But yeah, okay, all right.
He could have been almost a monk if it wasn't for his wisdom.
Oh.
Yep.
That would have been a good thief. A lot of stuff.
B3.
Okay. Maybe that's why he's evil. He's bitter. He couldn't.
Okay, so the retro DM picked B3. I don't know if
It works. Sleep spell works. See, it works. No problem. See, this is interesting because elves have resistance. Is it a 90%
It's 90% resistance? So that's why I was going to use it. So the fact that it worked seems like, does Kelly know that it's not supposed to work, or is he being very nice?
Right. Yeah, we don't know.
So it works perfectly fine?
It says it works, no problem.
Wow.
That's all it says.
That's controversial because in the monster manual, this is why D&D is painful. Because if you're the player, now I have some players who would say, wait a minute, doesn't the elf get 90% magic resistance? And the rest of the party looks at them like, what did you just say, man? What are you doing? Whose side are you on? And I would say, that's a good player.
Oh, right. You meaning, yes, that they're helping the DM. Right. They're providing information that, well, I shouldn't say helps the DM, hurts the party.
Yes.
Okay.
So elves are 90% resistance to charm and sleep spells. So unless he rolled it twice, maybe he's rolling for divine intervention twice.
Well, that's right. He had to do it twice.
That's right.
And so that there is only a 10%. Wait, there's a 10% chance, and then a 10% chance. I think that means. Does that mean there's a 1% chance? I'm not good at the math.
10. It's yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's a 10% chance the first time, and then there's a 10% chance you get it again. I think that's a 1% chance that it would work on both of them. Okay, it worked.
Yeah.
Don't argue with. See, you're being that player. You're arguing with Kelly.
I'm not arguing with him. I just said it's pretty amazing. It sounds like he wants this guy to live.
It sounds passive aggressive to me.
Well, and it's also part of this is to teach people how to play. I would say that's not the optimal play, usually.
All evidence to the contrary.
It is. In this case, it was. But this is the same thing when your kid, goes out and runs in traffic and survives. Look, I ran in traffic. There's nothing wrong.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, never try this again because the odds that it'll work again, well, it's the same. But you know what I mean.
What are the odds it's going to happen? What are the odds?
They're
the same odds as they had before. Exactly.
The same? Okay.
One of the people had a question. This was published in 83. Is that correct?
I believe this is 83.
Yes.
Yes, February 83. This is issue number 5, February 83.
It was published way after the Monster Manual. So, because people...
Yeah, no, we can't explain it on that.
Yes.
That would have been a nice
So we just have to assume that he rolled the percentages, or we can call Kelly and find out.
Yeah, that'll go
Okay, yeah. All right.
Who's this? Who?
What?
James? What? Who are you?
That's right.
Never heard of you guys.
Then he'll remember.
B4?
B4. Polymorph.
Okay, what was B4? Polymorph self. Okay, this is an interesting one. It works.
Yes.
You gain surprise and easily terminate the first elf. The second one, however, gives you 5 hit points of damage in melee before he is removed.
Now, what's interesting about polymorph? I'll leave it.
You regain.
Don't say it like we want people. Yes, you're right. Go ahead.
I don't know. You regain confidence.
That's right.
In the world.
Yes, that's right. It's the ability to transform yourself into multiple things, and do that. So yes, what's interesting about polymorph self, which we assume is what he did here, right? Or it just says polymorph self, is when you return back to your normal state, you get a D12 of healing per the player's handbook. Yes.
Why?
It just says that. Wait, really? You're going to go with why?
Yeah.
In first edition? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I have no problem. I like Ask Why. I have no problem then moving on after that if we don't have
All
an
right,
answer.
B5,
Okay.
invisibility and dagger.
You gain surprise on initial attack, terminating the first elf. However, attacking, you become visible. And take 3 hit points of damage from the other elf. That's right. That's the downside.
Yep.
You become
All
visible.
right, B6. This was the popular choice besides B2.
These low-level elves die immediately from the magic missiles.
Yes, very good.
There it is.
You slaughtered them.
Well, the nice thing about that is that they're unerring, and so you wouldn't hit the map. Right?
That's right.
You don't have the same fireball problem.
Or lightning bolt problem. Because you could still lightning bolt the map and it would be a problem.
Oh, so lightning bolt, you'd have to take a save as well?
If it failed
Right.
if it failed to save, yeah.
I assume it's to say that on its spell?
Yeah.
Okay. B7.
Protection
What was
from
B7?
evil.
Scroll has no effect against these good elves. Plus, they hear you reading it and approach it.
Because you're 10 feet away.
The damn verbal component.
That's right.
And you're like, where's that? I don't know, what do you need for this? What do you need for this spell? I don't even know what you need for protection from evil. It's probably something pretty. Oh, wait. You're not doing the
You have
circle.
to draw a
That's something
circle.
different.
No, you have to draw a circle.
Oh, wait. So what are you doing? We've had
Yes,
protection.
we've had-
I know. I see that look. Didn't we have protection from evil
we've
as our
done.
spell?
Yes, that's why you don't remember. This is why it's great being you, because you forgot.
See, that's why you can listen to any podcast. You don't have to
You
start
need,
an order.
well, it's
It'll all
evil,
be
so you
new.
need smoldering dung. That's what they smell within 10 feet.
Yes. It's the same as the cleric. Oh, it's first level cleric. So what were you doing when you? So you must trace to complete this spell.
Yeah, let's go to magic user protection from evil, just in case it is.
No, you got it. It's going to send you to cleric first level. I think, doesn't it?
Oh, no, it's not. The difference, it is that the material component is powdered iron or silver. We did go over this.
We did.
To trace the spell, to trace the circle.
Okay.
But I like the smoldering dung better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why am I doing? Yeah, I'm evil. I should really be doing protection from
Good. Which is why it didn't work. Because they're...
Exactly. And then
Well, it
not
worked.
only
Oh,
did
no,
it
he
not
did protection
work,
from evil. I apologize. Yeah, why would you do protection from evil?
well, unless you think these elves are evil, pretty low.
Yeah.
But so the problem was I was tracing this circle.
Well,
On the
it's
ground.
a scroll. You wouldn't be doing that.
Oh, it's a scroll.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do. That's right. I have no components. So they just heard me reading it. Okay.
Whoa, this is a
All
great
right.
question. I love this question. If you're and I like it because you. Menyon asks, "Can you use your own smoldering dung?" I think that's yes, absolutely.
It just says, "Oh, so you don't have to bring it along
That's right.
because that's like
Yeah.
everyone smells you coming."
Right.
Yeah, you really don't want to bring. It's like, oh man, cleric or magic. You've got the.
But you have to make
Well,
you have to make a con roll if you don't have it prepared. You have to, and that takes a round, or longer.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. So the dung is just the cleric one. Is
Yes,
that right?
and it's protection from good, or it's no. I'm sorry, it's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Wait, okay. To complete the spell, the cleric must trace a 3-foot diameter circle upon the floor or ground with holy water for protection from evil, with blood for protection from good, or in the air using burning incense or smoldering. Yeah, okay. So it's option. The dung is optional.
But it's a good thing to know as a backup.
Well, if you don't have, so you can use blood. You can use your own blood then.
You'd think blood would be easier to get than.
Yeah, or in the air. Oh, yeah. So it's the burning incense.
Right.
So it's the smoldering
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
it. How do you wield it?
It's a brazier. You get a brazier.
Oh, wait. So I'm carrying along a brazier. Wait, but that's hard to travel with.
Well, that's what you. Or I don't think you're going to hold it in your hand. That.
Wait, okay, but let's say you forget the incense.
Right.
Like, oh man, I forgot. I left the incense back at the inn.
Right.
And like, well, what are you gonna do?
Hold on.
But I don't have a brazier.
Well.
I don't need a brazier.
No, you can use a plate or a.
Let me borrow your
Or a
plate.
cup.
Can I borrow your tank?
Your tankard.
That's not good. I don't. Oh, you know what's worse is like if you get if
Opa!
you're No, in the morning. You don't know it's been used.
Ah, Father
Oh,
Bob
man.
again?
I can't. How many times have I
Sorry.
told you? Don't use my tankard. So, and then you just sort of wave it. All right. And so it's the smoldering and you wave it. Yeah. So, all right. So,
So
the lesson is you really want, if you want the protection from good, you really want the scroll. There's a lot of advantages to the scroll.
yes. Yeah, you don't. That scrolls are great. You don't need any of the material components. It's all baked in.
I'd be upset if I'm like, really? Why am I got to use dung? Oh, hold on. I think I have to save a cat. Hey, Duncan. Sorry, cats going crazy. Okay. All right.
Haste, B8. We're off the rails.
B8 haste works great. Take 1 hit point of damage in melee. Yeah.
Okay. So far 3 and 6 have been the best.
Kelly's been really nice on this one, hasn't he?
I like B9. I should have went with B9.
What's
Fireball.
B9? All right. Oh, Kelly was in a really good mood. They are both killed, and luckily for you, the map is only slightly burned.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on. Okay, this cat escaped. Yeah, I've got my own random encounter of combat going on all over the place here. So yeah, so all right, they're both killed, which means, so I guess okay, here's the interesting
we got
thing
one
about
more.
it.
We have 10, dart and dagger.
I know, but I want to talk about this fireball thing real quick, because if they're both killed, that means if it's slightly burned, does that mean they made their save or didn't make their save? I mean, slightly burned sounds like you had I mean, to me it seems like either the scroll is not burned or it's destroyed.
We have another idea for merchandise, scented candles, just saying.
Like dung
let it waft.
shaped candles?
Yeah, let it waft is from Aggie. I like it.
So we should have like a dung. So like the protection from. So we'd have like protection from good candles.
That's right. Protection from.
And protection from evil.
Yeah,
you can pick.
That's right. No one would buy.
No matter-
one would buy the evil candles. They buy the good candles just to.
Of course they would. So it's just like.
That's your elephant
Done.
gift when you gift exchange at work. Yeah, look what I got you. Christmas candle.
A dung. It's like it looks like dung.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter, she made an ice cream cone in kindergarten or something like that, and it was chocolate. And let me tell you, the soft serve, it looked
It's like the emoji, the poo emoji. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Dung scented
all right.
candles. I think it's going to be this year's holiday favorite.
Yeah. The good, yeah. Protection. Why is there no protection from neutral?
Because they're okay. We're not going there.
What if they're coming at? What are the herd animals coming at me? I
Then
need protection
you need protection
from
from
the herd.
animals. Then
Well, what about a neutral?
they're animals.
Thief. I want protection from neutral. What? I didn't. Why you don't have to look anything up. It was a rhetorical question.
Nothing's rhetorical for you because you won't let that. You won't let go. Okay. There's a cat.
No, there's no such spell. I'm fine to move on.
Okay. You want anti-animal shell. That's what you want.
Oh, okay.
6th level druid.
I could have. Now you tell me that snake could have used it.
That's right, exactly. All right. B10.
Okay, what was B10?
Dart and dagger.
Wow, you kill both of them, but you take 5 hit points of damage in melee.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So
That's a 4.
there were some surprises on this. The fireball did well, which is awesome.
That map should have gone. No, that map well, he needs you to have the map, otherwise you're not going to make it there. I guess we should have realized that.
Well, he should have said. Well, they should have said you burn the map and you have no idea how to get in. Game over. That would have been game over.
That's what it should have been.
Exactly.
It should have been. Yeah. All
All
right.
right. That was good.
I still have 6 hit points. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you did it great. Magic Missile
Thank
was
you.
the one I would have went with. I mean, the problem is, I think elves, player characters, and they're in the monster manual, they're just 1-hit dice creatures, and you should blast them.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. It is interesting. They're all pretty easy if you think about it. Okay. So completes another episode of Have You Ever Played a Wizard in the Heart of a Hobgoblin Lair?
Yes. So now we're ready for Dragon 39.
Okay.
That's our last segment,
Yeah.
I think, unless we keep going, and then it won't.
Yeah, I think that'll be it. So yeah, 40 years ago this month, Dragon Magazine, July 1980. You're pulling it up?
I am. There it is. Dragon 39 has a good evocative cover.
I thought it was, it's still not yet to the covers that I really like.
Let's see. Here, I'll share it with you.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
How about that?
That's very nice. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. It is. Oh, wait. Yes. Do we have? Oh, is there nudity?
Unless
it's not nudity. What is that?
Some kind of lion or manicore. It
has a tail.
It's a lion. Some kind of lion.
Oh, okay. Is D&D the kind of thing where, you meet the lady, you go back to it's kind of like the crying game, but it's a tale?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean, and I'm concerned for you, but okay. I got you.
All right. Okay. Yeah, all right. So here is, and what issue is this?
39.
39. Okay.
And there's a few great things in here, right?
I think there were some good. Yes, I think there are two. There's two definite keepers in here,
okay,
which I would like to talk about. That the kind of things that I would say, okay, I need to remember this issue. And are we gonna go? You're just gonna slide on through there?
Yep. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger for folks. Look at that. They can see it. You can see it.
Yep.
All right. So the first one is the anti-paladin NPC.
I agree with that. That's what I was thinking of, the anti-paladin NPC.
And
I like
the one that this is one of the first things I experienced with you, is good hits and bad misses.
Had you used it
No.
back in the day? Were you familiar? Were you even familiar with it? Or
No.
is that like, what is this? Okay.
No, we weren't familiar with it. I mean, I've seen other versions of people making fumble, and I have a fumble rule and a critical rule, but not like this. I've seen it in other systems. And we used to play MERP, and occasionally we would play Pendragon. I think they also had, but MERP was the one I remember. The critical hits and failures of that were just devastating. And Paranoia had one to a lesser extent.
Okay. Right. And we see Jean Wells, that she's returning.
She does a couple of things. She has sage advice, and she talks about women in... you need to take a picture of one of your strays in the dice tray for Twitter, by the way.
Okay. Strays.
Well, they're not yours, right? You're.
No, they're not. They're my foster kids.
So they are a stray from where their parents are. They're not. It's because someone didn't take care of them. All right.
That's true. Okay.
All right. So.
They're not strays anymore.
Dragon rumbles. And again, this is now Jake Jaquette is the editor, not our friend Tim Kask.
Right.
So we scroll down. He says they are talking about back orders that they're trying to get done. Very good. Out on a limb. I like this one. Doug McKenzie, where is he from? He's from Canada. He's a very rude Canadian.
Yeah.
Why is it, although you claim that Dragon's Impartial magazine, yet you don't publish articles about Cassium's RuneQuest? Is it because you're trying to cover up the fact that RuneQuest is the ultimate FRP game, fantasy role-playing game, that RuneQuest combat, magic, and promotion systems so outclass SIC, that of AD&D's? Not to mention, when has anyone used SIC in a thing in the last 20 years? Has we seen that?
Oh, what is so outclasses. I wonder why he's sick to that. What's wrong with outclass? Is misspelling? I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed to be spelled right to me, but then what do I know? Okay. Well, they're being nasty.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. If RuneQuest got the coverage it deserves, you may lose a lot of money.
Right.
Let's just say they.
Well, you gotta give them.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say give them points for printing it, I guess.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh yeah. Basically, they say we don't. If people wanted, our listeners, our viewers don't care about it because if they did, they'd send us stuff. Is what they basically says.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to, but we are the kings. Are we supposed to see it? Yes, you're supposed to see it. Thank you, sir. There we go. Sorry. Thank you. I apologize. Here, let me go back. You haven't missed much. Here is the cover. here is, you haven't missed much. We just looked at the items that are in here. I apologize. It's important to skip over to the actual thing, or else people can't see it. I had set it up, but I didn't turn it over. Okay, scrolling down, we were looking at why no Ruin Crest. I apologize. Then in the middle, there is a discussion about our other dear friend Bill Fawcett's Angels in D&D.
Yep, still controversial.
Still controversial.
Yep. So that was a very controversial one.
And hooray for kids. Okay, so that was it. Oh, look, an advertisement for the World of Greyhawk, right? That came out the folio came out this thing, correct?
Correct, full edition, 1980. Correct.
All right, then they talk about miniatures, which we don't care about. I'm sorry. So I'm going to scroll past this. Yeah. Miniatures. Here we go. There he is.
It's good. It's a good drawing, don't you think?
It is a good drawing.
So in general, so this is the anti-paladin. In general, what is your view on antis? So like, let's say I want to do an anti-ranger. I mean, I guess you have to have it has to be something that has a strong alignment.
Right.
So what's your general view on anti-anythings?
Well, what's interesting before this, I did not know about this article till later. We used the Fiend folio. We used the Death Knight as the anti-paladin because it was a paladin that was corrupted.
Yes.
Into which to me, the fallen paladin, who not only is fallen but embraces the dark side. It's not, and again using the Star Wars analogy, I'm sure there's people who know way more Star Wars. Darth Vader is the anti-Jedi, right? He's completely, or the Emperor is an anti-Jedi, though we don't know if the Emperor ever was a Jedi, but Darth Vader was a Jedi. Luke is almost a fallen Jedi at some point, or I'm sure there's other ones, but where he kind of gives up, and then at the end he comes back.
I feel like they need to work on their sales job, though. They're always like, they're so bad and evil. Like I always thought, the Emperor and Darth Vader would have been a little bit more, it would have made it more alluring. But that's a different issue. Let me ask you about the Death Knight.
Right. So for me, Death Knight was always the anti-paladin. So until I saw this article.
And this is so it says the Death Knight, there are only 12 of these dreadful creatures known to exist, is a horrifying form of lich created by a demon prince. It is thought Demogorgon from a fallen human paladin. Now, I interpret fallen to mean dead. Do you interpret fallen to mean they've turned? Like
I always read it as fallen, as in they fell from being a paladin, not. But they did it. They did it under service, not that they fell in battle and then they were raised. That I mean, you could certainly argue that, but that's not how I read it.
Because that's interesting, and the Death Knight is very cool. I probably like the Death Knight.
Page 23 on Fiend Folio, by the way.
Yeah, and I like I like the idea of an anti-paladin, and I like a lot of the stuff it's doing. That it's the exact opposite, right? I mean, so it's what you get. You cause wounds instead of the curing, right? So laying on hands is, I think, causing damage. Everything's kind of the opposite. You get these clerics. You get cleric spells later, but they're all the reverse usually. They're the reverse. The one thing I really like this idea of an anti-paladin. I like the idea of chaotic evil as opposed to lawful neutral, so it's the exact opposite. What I didn't like about it was that he's a bit of a coward, isn't he?
Right. Well, that's the thing. He's literally the anti-paladin.
Oh, that's right. I mean, yeah. That hadn't crossed my mind. You're right, though, of course.
So he has no honor. He has no chivalry. So what we're talking about is this. Yeah. There's a long write-up by George Laking and Tim Mesford about this, and so they have there is no honor with them. They give examples of how they would totally be ruthless and manipulative, Machiavellian in their approach. There's a whole thing about poisons. They have no problem with poison. In fact, they're more poison users than assassins when you go through this.
Yeah, so it was interesting. So it was different, but you're right. I hadn't thought about that. It's just the opposite of the paladin. So I guess now I'm warming up to it more. because I was hoping for an
They're more like
anti-paladin.
Snidely Whiplash, right? Isn't that the, kind of villain? He's a coward.
Yeah, and then they got and so I guess what I was always wanting with an anti-paladin is somebody who is out there leading the troops, the evil hordes in combat. But that's not what this is. But now that you've enlightened me, I've seen the darkness actually. So where he's the opposite of the paladin.
He's Bizarro Superman, basically.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, okay. I think the anti-paladin would be a very interesting nemesis, don't you think?
Yeah, but you have to play its weakness, or else it's in there. So, and I like, it's, again, instead of immune to disease, he's a carrier of disease.
Right.
This guy's the defender of chaos and evil. He's always chaotic evil. Now again, they've made basically later editions. They've made champions of every alignment. That they became more of a paragon, an avatar of that alignment. They are the tip of the spear for whatever alignment is.
Yeah. So I like the idea,
because there's a Dragon magazine where they make a paladin for every alignment.
Oh.
That's in the 80s. It's in the 80s sometimes.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure the groups are going to say it. There's a Dragon magazine that they create one for every one.
Which, because of course, in Jean Wells' Sage Advice in this issue, she's asked about a lawful neutral dwarf paladin.
Oh yes.
So I give a thumbs up to the anti-paladin NPC. I think I would recommend it to people as a good nemesis for obviously, particularly if you've got a paladin. If someone's playing a paladin, then bring in the anti-paladin as, like you said, the Bizarro Superman. I think is it's good. You got to watch out though, because it can get cartoonish. I think.
Sure.
Right, and be overplayed. And so, but yeah, no, I like the anti-paladin.
All right. So
I mean, I like the Death Knight better as so the anti-paladin is the recurring nemesis. The Death Knight, I think, is just cool as like the big bad in a particular adventure, right? Comes galloping out on the nightmare. So the Death Knight is cooler, I think, as a single kind of end to an adventure, as opposed to the anti-paladin is like a long campaign to track down and kill.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's that they can be much more wily, whereas a Death Knight is going to straight up come after you and kill you. The anti-paladin is going to avoid that if he can, or she can.
What does the Death Knight think of the anti-paladin?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, well, he thinks he's a wimp. He's a baby. Because
he's such a coward. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I feel like the Death Knight, because I look at it as a fallen paladin. Again, it's that whole dark side of the Force kind of thing. They still retain. They've twisted their virtues into vices. And it's this. They still have that. I'm sure they would run at some point, but they're not going to run as quickly as the anti-paladin.
And the Death Knight, of course, the Death Knight is undead. It's a form of lich.
Yes, that's right.
And so the Death Knight is undead, whereas the anti-paladin is not. So can an anti-paladin, when they die, be turned into a Death Knight, do you think? I assume you're going to say no because of your textualist approach.
That's right. Yeah, it can't be. No,
you said no.
Their soul gets brought, and they start at level 1 of being a mains, and hopefully are not consumed by one of the demon lords for utterly destroyed.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, they're going. So they're heading to the abyss. They're just like they're in the bottom.
Yeah.
We can't have like an undead. No. We need to create a form of the anti-paladin undead. Well, that would be cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting. They're talking about the charisma here. And,
that was very entertaining. Yeah. It's either really high or really low.
Right.
That was very cool. I thought that was. I really liked that.
Yeah. So 1 or 2, it's either 3 or 4, or they're either very persuasive or not. There you go. All right. So up on a soapbox.
Can I ask you? So,
Yes.
an ant. Are you having like lawful creatures? I'm trying to remember what you like. Orcs? Are they going to follow you? I mean, you're
No.
chaotic. No, you're chaotic, right? You're just like a band.
It says they like orcs, ogres. Well, they says they like orcs.
Yeah, why orcs? Orcs are lawful.
Yeah, I think gnolls would be the ones. Ogres is fine. Hobgoblins are lawful evil.
But but okay.
And
But
trolls.
so you can.
I would say they would go with gnolls would be the best. They're the chaotic, crazy things.
Yeah, right. Because you're. So yeah, I don't think the Death Knight really likes the anti-paladin
Yeah,
very well.
yeah, it's there.
You know what's interesting is as we learned, I believe it says the Death Knight cannot be turned. Do you remember that?
Yes,
That came up in Aurelian.
That's correct.
What do you think of that?
I don't think it's right, but that's what
The
it
Death
says.
Knight itself cannot be turned or dispelled, though it is affected by Holy Word. Yeah, I don't like it either. And you know what? I don't like that you can't. I feel like it should be like saving throws. I feel like a 20 should always turn. I don't care if you are the first level cleric and it's the Lich. I feel like a 20 should always turn. What do you think? No? No? You're not feeling it? Number one, I think you should be on the list somewhere. Why are you not, if you're a form of Lich, why is the Death Knight better than a Lich in terms of protection from turning?
That's the point. That's why I think it should just be a lich. It should, because it even says it's a kind of lich, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like the idea of a 20 always turns?
No, it shouldn't be always turns.
Oh, you agree with me. It should always be.
No, it shouldn't. It should be
shouldn't.
based on the chart.
Well, I understand there's a
first level
chart.
cleric should not be able to turn a lich.
I think they should on a 20.
Okay. Well
That's heroic. It's heroic. No, how about this? Do you remember that rule for 20s to hit where it's a 20, 20, 20, whatever?
Right.
Where you've got to roll like a 20 and then you have to roll it again or something like that? There's like a special, there's an optional rule on to hit on the series of 20s. That's what it should be. That's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to treat it like that. It's like it's 20s on down.
Okay, you know what? That's what's great about being DM. You can do whatever you like.
Well, and the players will like it.
Yeah.
No player's going to complain.
No. Unless
Because
they're evil. Unless they're evil and they're fighting.
Yes, unless they're the Lich.
Right. Unless they're evil characters and they have their undead hordes, and then you're the good guys that they're attacking.
Yes. Like the Lich's work, he's a follower.
Right. Then they're not
Right.
going to be
I've
happy.
attracted a Lich, or my DM has allowed me to play a Lich.
Right.
Yeah, because there is a rule on the 20s somewhere.
All right.
I don't know where it is. Okay.
So we're moving on. We like
Moving
the
on.
anti-paladin.
We like with thumbs up the anti-paladin.
Okay. Now up on a soapbox, which is the big. It's interesting what they put in like 1980 that you probably wouldn't do anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm highlighting it's something right just because we think it's right. If Hitler feels that it's right for him to kill 6 million Jews, is that morally acceptable? Yeah. What is that rule? You should never use Hitler in your arguments.
It's kind of moral relativism.
Yeah. Well, it's just you just shouldn't use. Yeah, no one should be using Hitler in their thing. So
No.
But this is about the problem with morality in fantasy. And what's interesting about this article, real quick, is this guy's going after a previous article, Painted Ladies and Potted Monks, about, and he's critiquing this other one that no one cares about.
Yeah, I lost interest. I got to see. That's the problem. I have to tell you, as you know, I read this like I would read a Real Dragon magazine back in the day.
Right.
And when he was critiquing this other article, which I wasn't familiar with and didn't seem, I moved on.
I didn't care, but I just found it interesting. Yeah, he's going on about the difference between morality and ethics. Wow, I didn't play the game that way. I didn't care.
Well, you just slaughtered 2 elves.
Right, and I had no qualms about it.
No, you weren't like, stop.
I didn't read this.
I don't see your scrolling.
You don't see it, really?
No, I'm still on anti-paladin.
Oh.
So you have to tell me what you're on.
Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to try it again. How about now? Do you see it?
Just black. You can just tell me what it is.
You don't see anything, really?
Yeah, I just have black.
Well, that sucks. Okay, well, I'm going to try this. Okay. Do you see that?
Nope.
Okay, never mind. All right, so now we're passing the Minion Legends, the Barbarian North, and the Youth of Juliet Wolfheart. I didn't read that. It seemed like history. I didn't care. I hate to say it, but probably was
Yeah,
good.
I didn't either.
All right, moving on. Women want equality. This was interesting, right? I mean, it's still, I think we're still dealing with some of this today. I think a lot of it hasn't changed. So, and some of it's gotten a lot better, thank goodness. So this was by Gene Wells and Kim Mohan. And I was always under the impression Kim was a man, was it? But I guess
Kim is
not.
a man. Kim
Right.
is a man.
Right. So
Yeah.
this got me confused when he wrote "Women Want Equality."
He's not helping the confusion.
Right. Yeah. So
What's he supposed to do? P.S. I'm a man.
well, just don't write the thing "Women Want Equality" because I'm sure he now got a bunch of mail at the time from women going, "Go on with
Dear
yourself."
Ms. Mohan.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm sure your husband doesn't agree with you, or whatever the case may be. So, go
The
ahead.
actual question, because so we don't have many women play in our games, and I think in large part that's because we play first edition, and back then it was very unusual to have women players.
At least in our circles, it was definitely.
In our right, I mean, just back then in the early '80s,
yes,
that was unusual, and I guess the question is why. That's probably a whole nother subject and discussion, but why? I certainly want to think that our groups back then were seeking to exclude or behaving in a way that would deter women. I think
we
back
were.
in the role.
We certainly were.
Well,
look at us, and now look at younger versions of us. Would women want to spend time with us, hours at a table, eating Doritos and in slightly non-air conditioned rooms? No, of course not. They have better things.
Right. So in other words, it hopefully it wasn't the fact that we were doing things that would be deemed sexist, as opposed to we were doing stuff that women had the sense to say, really?
Right.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's I hope that's the reason.
Yes, I think that is the reason. And then just the awkwardness of, it's just all the geek movies personified, and again, depending on how old you were when you were playing the game. I think certainly if you were younger, by the time you get to your tweens and teens, the genders traditionally have split up and do things that are not the same, right? Guys generally play football and baseball. Girls don't do that. Girls work on certain things that guys don't. And it doesn't preclude people. There's a sorting that happens. And that's what happened with us. Now, as we got older and we started being attracted to women and vice versa, I had the DM whose girlfriend would play, and I've said that thing a number of times where,
yes.
it's if they were fighting, it was a train wreck. If they weren't fighting, it was a train wreck. It was just a train wreck all over the place.
Right.
But you look at, I just remember when I was 19 playing with my friends, we would go to the guy's house. He lived in a studio apartment that was behind his dad's house. We all smoked. It was had an air conditioner wall unit. And after 2 days of playing D&D, where we just pass out where we were playing, get up, who would want to be there if you weren't?
Yeah.
It was smoke and Diet Pepsi and the bath piss and what else? It was disgusting. So we didn't know people. The entrance, the barrier to entrance was pretty horrific. So, but later, you look at Bill Fawcett, right? He was very fortunate. He met Jody. She was a gamer, and some would argue some would argue pretty awesome for him because he's found someone who he's married and they have a lot of hobbies that they share.
Well, he probably would watch the way we were playing back then and be like, guys, you're never going to get any girls like this.
That's right. Exactly.
Seriously, guys?
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, so again, there were some interesting things, and that there was a tension between hack and slash, and that women don't want to. I mean, we've played with women, and they enjoy. When we were doing that live play, they had no problem slaughtering the orcs and stuff. They were having just as much fun. So I think there's prejudging and stereotyping, and we just need to avoid that, and it's problematic. I think as DMs, we do have to be careful, regardless of who's there, that it doesn't go beyond the pale. Like, murder's totally fine. If that's kind of comes with the currency of killing monsters, and that's why they have to be evil. If you start getting more complex, it does. You have to be careful with sexual assault and these type of things. And you would hope you shouldn't have that conversation with grown adults, but you have to have that conversation with adults that they're not going to go there. And as the DM, this is where I think you would hope the party would police themselves. But as the DM, you're the host. You got to make sure if you got a player, especially you and I, we tend to run games with open tables where people can just show up, and you've got to watch out for shenanigans.
Yeah, you need to make sure everyone's comfortable at your table.
Yeah.
And you got to be very alert to that.
Exactly.
You got to pay attention. And that is, I agree with you. I think that's your job. You're the host. It's your game. You need to make sure that people are comfortable and people aren't being demeaning. Absolutely.
So, and then here's another person. As a female player, her name is Kyle, or Kylie, I assume, not Kyle. So everyone, this is the, and my mother insisted on calling me Jamie when I was young. And then the Bionic Woman came out, and I said, don't ever call me that again.
Yes.
Never.
Yeah. Right.
So what does my wife call me?
She call you Jamie?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what she calls me.
But you're married. What do you know?
Yeah, well, because she heard my mother say it. So she's like, oh, that's what I'm calling you. Oh, great.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yep.
You just announced that,
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever. People want to
Don't
call me
you?
that. No, I'll
Don't
block.
you?
I'll block you. No, I don't care anymore. I'm old. It is what it is. And then my brother was Stefan, so I didn't like that since I had to be called a girl's name. I called him Steffi, and he.
I was going to say Steffi, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like that. All right, so this was interesting. She's saying and arguing properly that there's been a lot of female characters who can be fighters. There's archetypes for female strong characters, and that makes perfect sense. Though there always been the challenge of that Gygax in first edition. If you played a female human, you couldn't get as strong as a male human, and we didn't question it back then. Now it'd be like, why are we doing that? Who cares? Just give you. But now, they would. Now the challenges, I'm sure you may have not heard because of our latest political challenges, that they're looking at not having racial differences.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is a fantasy game. I think it's a bigger issue if you are ascribing human beings to certain races and that they are an analog for that. You shouldn't be doing that. Orcs are orcs. They're not an analog to our, this is not Planet of the Apes where we are an allegory to racism in the 60s. We shouldn't be doing that. If you are, you better be careful.
Yeah, my view is let's have different games for different people. So if Wizards of the Coast want, it's their, look, it's their game. If they want to change it, it's up to them. I mean, they're obviously, they got to sell games.
Right.
And so a lot of this obviously is driven, I think, by the market too, right? I mean, why are they doing this now?
Right.
Because it's become an issue with consumers, some consumers. And look, if there's people who are old school that orcs are evil and they should always be evil, and Wizard of the Coast moves away from that, I assume that you will have competing games, and that's the way the marketplace works. And you can always change it too, right? I mean, that's the great thing about these games.
Yeah.
Is that you can adjust it. I mean, you could play a game where you have good orcs if you want.
Sure.
Right?
You can totally flip the script where the elves are evil. I've seen that. The orcs are the good guys, but it's not it's not done to protest something in current society. I mean, if you're going to do that, that's a different game. And there are probably better games to do that with, is the thing.
Yeah, I guess I gotta tell. I find it. I'm not terribly interested in that portion, in the debate in that realm, in the fantasy gaming realm. To me, and honestly, to me, it's like, because do it. You play the game you want to play. If you want to not have orcs are not inherently evil, go for it. You could have done that in 19. You've always had that opportunity to go for it.
Right.
And I'm not going to get all jazzed about the fact that a company might change that officially, because to me, I mean, we joke about. I mean, we're probably the last people to joke about. Well, our rules aren't really rules, because we sit here and what we do is talk ad nauseum about rules. But we've always recognized you have the power to change whatever you want and make the game the right one for you and your player. So to me, it's like, is there a right? There's no right answer. Is there really a right? Are orcs evil? How can that be a debate? In my opinion, there's no right answer.
Well, there is a right answer. It's in the book. Orcs are lawful evil.
Monster manual. If that's the game you're playing, absolutely. If that's what you want to do, absolutely. If you want, and that's what I want to do. If you want to play, according to the first edition, 1977.
Yep.
If you want to play by this book in 1977, you go for it, and that's what we'll do. But that's a choice.
Yes.
We have a choice, and we make that choice. You don't have to make that choice. So.
And for us, because we do run an open table, we run open tournaments, we don't want to push away people who would either be offended or not feel like their character has a place because they're being marginalized. But we also are not here to, again, try to make this game an analog of our real world. People play a game to get away from the real world, to be heroes. And we should allow people to be heroes, but not have a situation where, again, we're reading into this is an analog of our current thing. That's my take.
It would make no sense for me anyway, because I'm anachronistic here. So in other words, I'm doing this because I want to play first edition. I want to sort of relive the experience I had back in the day.
Yep.
So it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Look, I understand. Look, there's certain things that should probably have always been excluded, and we didn't do those things back in the day. But orcs are evil. That's big time debatable. That's not the kind of thing that's clearly problematic to me. And so I have no problem if I'm going to go back for nostalgia and play this. It makes no sense for me to jettison orcs as being evil if I'm trying to get the nostalgia that for the early 80s that I had. So to me, it's sort of, I'm not going to bring in things that I think are troubling, but I'm not going to jettison those things either that to me are the heart of first edition. That's the heart of first edition, right? So,
right. Exactly.
But we're, James, we're the past.
We are the past.
We're the past, right? And that's we're a diminishing group. We're not a market that Wizard cares about. They shouldn't care about us at all, should they?
No.
At all.
No, and I think modern games should take modern things. That's what I've always. Yes. There should be a 5th edition. I hope there's a 9th edition. There should never be. It should be a time capsule that you can adjust if you want. But if you want to play it that way, that's fine too. And the 5th edition, and if there's a 6th edition, it should accommodate their audience. Absolutely. And if I'm part of the audience, great. If I'm not, I mean, I hope they wouldn't try to preclude me, but I would also hope that they could include as many people as possible. And if people don't want to play that game, so be it. I think for us, because we try to attract people, we've had all kinds of folks come to the open table, and I'm at least trying not to exclude them right off the get-go. But they got to meet. People got to meet halfway too. That's, I guess, is my other point. I know that I'm not trying to actively dissuade you from playing in my game. Give me the benefit of the doubt, and give the party the benefit of the doubt that you're going to play a character that's not going to try to provoke people from having problems.
Yeah.
All right, we've beaten that to death. So, Lakofka talks about starting a campaign from scratch. And this is interesting, but it's a lot of reading. So if you want to read it, feel free to. They talk about creating a party and how you... and giving out spells, which I thought was interesting for that, based on your campaign. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
So keep going. Campaign. Next time, try a cleric. This is kind of makes fun of the whole resurrection multiple times. It's a story. It's okay.
Yeah, fiction, right?
So who's on page? More importantly, who is on page? What page is this? 26 of staves and strings and other things. Who wrote this article? Dan, do you know?
I can't remember. It's about the crossbows and the bows?
Yes.
Wait, just ask. Oh, Bill Fawcett,
Bill
right?
Fawcett, that's right, our dear friend Bill Fawcett.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Bill Fawcett wrote this and kind of goes over both. So, again, even 40 years ago, he's writing great articles. So he kind of this talks about why they're the advantages and disadvantages. So that was pretty good. Then there's this Tom Moldvay, another titan of our writer of the basic set that basically was my game with AD&D. Giants in the Earth, classic heroes from fiction and literature. I guess it's good. I never read them, so no offense. No. Now we're up to Sage Advice.
Yay. That's my favorite part.
Always a crapshoot when you got Jean Wells doing this, which we love.
I like her.
That's right.
I'm a Jean Wells fan.
Yes. So the first one is, can a relatively weak magic item such as potions gaseous form be used to fulfill the function of remove curse? She says no, which I agree with.
Yes, I agree with that one too. Can't use potion of gaseous form to remove a curse. Makes no sense. Yeah, the ring, if it's a ring that does it, the ring will just come right back on. So yeah, that seemed like cheating. So interesting idea. It sounds like players were giving this DM a hard time, and he wrote in to get confirmation that it can't be done. So yes. Okay.
I love is there such thing as a lawful and neutral paladin? And we have a dwarf is one. No,
it was great, wasn't it? Because the last part, we have a dwarf, was not the question, really.
Right.
And, of course, Jean Wells picks up on two problems. What are the two problems?
Well, that's lawful and neutral paladin.
Right.
And a dwarf is a paladin. And a dwarf paladin. Both don't exist.
Exactly.
Except in Dan's game, and then he gives it to me.
Wait, did I allow it first?
Yes,
Maybe I did. Did I? Yes, I did.
Yes.
I know. Because you know why? Because I'm like the anti-paladin.
You are the anti-DM.
I have no courage.
That's right.
I'm the anti-DM.
Flee.
Yeah, what's interesting is, do they not have a player's handbook? Who writes this? Look, I can understand that you might be writing in, is it okay if I'm the DM to permit a lawful neutral paladin who is a dwarf to bend the rules?
Right.
But they seem to be asking this like they don't know the answer. I mean, usually you're asking, this sounds like I'm seeking a by-the-book answer. Well, why would that be confusing? I mean, you know what? Maybe it's people they can't afford when you're young, you can't afford the player's handbook. They don't have a copy of it. But so that surprised me. So, all right. So yeah, that was a pretty easy one.
Yep. Okay. And again, I'm not going to go through all of these because we're getting up on 3 hours, which is plenty. So there's a lot of interesting. Was there any other ones that you?
Well, you'd have to tell. I can't remember.
Well, the other one that I thought was interesting. If a character changes alignment from chaotic neutral to chaotic neutral good, does the character have to lose a level?
Another one. What's chaotic neutral good?
Yeah.
right? Now there's tendencies.
Lawful,
again,
neutral, evil, good.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't find anything. I found it entertaining. I always find Gene Wells entertaining, but I don't know that there was anything in there that was particularly useful. If I recall, like, oh, that's how that works, or oh, yeah, that helps. Was there anything? Oh, well, there's the ghoul paralysis, of course.
It's the ghoul paralysis they talk about again. Yep.
Yeah, okay, but no one mentions about the ghoul paralysis one because I find this entertaining. So, because we've had this image, you just kind of walk around the halls and ask people.
Right.
Now, number one, Dragon is in a different location, right? I think Dragon is in a different location.
At this time? I think so, maybe.
I think so. So Lawrence Schick, I assume, is over in headquarters. How does Lawrence Schick get asked? I mean, I have tremendous respect for Lawrence Schick, of course, but he's head of, is it because it was in T1? So he's head of what modules at this point in time?
Yeah, product production and design, it says here.
So how does Lawrence Schick get asked this? And what I love about it is it just says Lawrence Schick says this. It doesn't say, well, the authority would be Lawrence Schick. It just says Lawrence Schick says it's this. And what, gas or more?
Yeah, gas or double, it says.
No explanation of, number one, why Lawrence Schick is being asked. Number two, no explanation of why gas should be more, creating more confusion. This was, they really should have done is, and then there's confusion as to, well, does it also apply to carrion crawlers? What's that? You know what they should have done, what Jean should have done, but she's scared. What should Jean have done?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
She should have gone to Gary.
Right, exactly. But it is what it is.
She should have just gone to Gary and brought an end to all of this. So it just creates more confusion.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it is what it is. I don't get too worried about it, but and the other thing that is interesting, like on there, and this I think is a legitimate question about resurrection and poison versus raise dead, because if you raise dead someone who's poisoned, they die again, if I recall. You have to, but this one is like, does resurrection fix it? And I like the answer that the resurrection does take care of it because it's a super powerful spell.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't realize that question would have been more interesting to me if I'd realized raise dead that doesn't work. You come back still poisoned. So
yeah,
thanks for the pro tip.
Let's see. Okay, so moving down, scrolling. So the last one is good hits and bad misses. So Dan, why don't you explain why you like this and used the first time I saw it was in your campaign.
So we used it back in the day, and we know, of course, that Gary says no critical hits, no fumbles. So by the book is no critical hits, no fumbles. Players generally don't like that. Gary said that if you're going to use it, it needs to go both ways. And he believed, if I recall correctly, he wrote that when you tell the players that it works both ways, they will then be dissuaded from wanting a critical hit or fumble system. I don't think that's true. I think that players are still interested in it. We know, of course, that this is probably one of the biggest house rules, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Having some sort of critical hit or fumble is one of the biggest house rules, if not the biggest house rule. And so it is, it's kind of like landing on free parking in Monopoly.
Right.
And you put the money in the center. So most players did it, most groups do it with a 20 is a critical hit, a 1 is a fumble. And what's interesting about it is still to this day, even when players know that you're not using critical hits and critical fumbles and fumbles or any system like that, when they roll a 20, they still get excited.
Right.
I mean, I think we can't get rid of that. And I don't know if that's because we used critical hits back in the day or because it's the 20, it's the highest you'd have it anyway. But there's still this rush that when you get a 20, it feels like it should be something special. And a 1, I mean, we all go ugh when you roll the 1.
Right. And
so I think most groups back in the day we did 20 as double damage. And a 1, I think you dropped your weapon. Do you remember what you did back in the day?
Well, we went back and forth on it. I think 1, there was either a saving throw or fumble, or a 20 was double damage. I mean, that's kind of what we do today, but I think you using this system for a while changed my attitude. I was never a fan of as a player, double damage and fumbles, because they're much more catastrophic to the party, especially if you get multiple attacks. If you get multiple attacks, you have multiple attack routines, and you roll a 1, you're screwed.
Yeah, this system. So, and let me explain why I like this. If you're going to use a system, it's quite deadly, and as you've pointed out, it's very deadly for a low-level party. It's deadly against them, and so maybe Gary was right that they at least should be dissuaded from using it. So, what is it? And I think it's what Carl, like Pellegrino or something like that. Yeah. So Carl Pellegrino comes up with this system, and I like it because what he argued was the 20 critical hit doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you need a 19 to hit, for example, that would mean that 50% of those hits are critical hits. So 50% of the hits against a monster that's hard to hit all of a sudden become critical, and that didn't make a lot of sense. So what he did was he added an additional layer. He said if you need a 14 to hit, and I'm going off of memory here, but then you roll a 17,
right?
Then you now re-roll, and you have a 3% chance of having a critical hit.
Right.
And I believe it was the same with the fumble, that if you needed a 14 and you rolled a 5, you now had a 9% chance of a fumble. And so this was nice because it then, it wasn't 50%. I mean, it now was perfect, because if you needed a 19 to hit, the only hit you get is a 19 or a 20. The only time you'd have to roll a 20 for a critical hit, it was just a 1% chance. And so it's sort of apportioned it appropriately,
right?
And reduced your chance. It wasn't so high. Now, the problem is, and I think that, so I used this system. I also like the system because there are catastrophic stuff. There's charts where, somebody loses a limb. And I love combat, which is colorful. And although I agree that it bogs the game down to have hit locations, and I'm not a fan of a lot of hit locations, I do like periodically to make it colorful, and I do think these make it colorful. You've dropped something, you've got, so there's this tension, I think, between not wanting to bog the game down and combat down, which is already slow enough, with the same vein wanting it to be colorful. And the problem is if you don't have a system like this, then you're just left as the DM sort of making up what happens, and that gets hard. That's a strain on the DM too. So I like this injection of color, but the problem is there's two problems. Number one, it's an extra die roll, and
all
I think
the time. That's
all
the
the time. You guys started rolling your 20-sided to hit along with percentile dice,
right,
to do it all at once. But so it slowed it down. And I didn't bother me. I actually like extra rolls. I like rolling dice as a player. So this idea that, I love the random. So this idea, I've got a 2% chance now of critical hit, that never bothered me. But you tell me, because I think it bothered the players, or at least some of them.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this system. I'm still not a fan of double damage or critical fumble as a player, because combat, again, I take combat, if I'm a player, as the last resort. The players who like fighting and then they get smoked, they're the ones who should be like, they don't understand what combat's about. Just like the 21st level magic user and hold person, if there's a chance to die, you want to try to avoid that. You want to put everything in your favor, and there is no advantage in this system. I mean, there is some because of the the better chance you have to hit. First of all, some of my players have trouble figuring out what they need to hit, let alone.
Yeah.
So that grinds the game down.
Right.
Then you have these wild swings of things. So for me, this system is very colorful. I like it, but it reminds me of Ruin Quest. It reminds me of MERP, the targeted things, which Gary was very passionate about in the DMG. This is an abstract combat. We're not trying to make it realistic. Then, of course, he spends pages trying to make it realistic, but the idea was to do that. I've tried to get rid of double damage and fumbles in my game. The players love it. They want to have it, to your point. So my version is, if you roll a 1, I try to reduce the frequency based on this, which I appreciated. If they roll a 20 or 1, they have to basically confirm it. And there's different rules for that based on, so fighters have a better chance of confirming because they have a better chance to hit, and they have a better chance to avoid the catastrophe fumble because they're more proficient in fighting. That's my rule.
And what's the confirmation?
So they have to roll another d20 and hit. So if they don't roll again, they don't roll a d20 until if they roll a 20 to hit, then they roll another attack, and if they hit for a normal attack, then they confirm.
So it's kind of in between. So it's kind of like it's a softer version of Pellegrino. I mean, so in other words, you still, if you need a 19 to hit, still a larger percentage are going to be critical. Well, no, I guess that's not. No, you're right, because you need another one to hit, so you need another 19.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, I like that. So if you do a 20 or a 1, and then you got to roll to
see if what happens.
I like that.
And most of the time, it doesn't do anything, which is good.
That's nice. That's that may be an improvement on Pellegrino. And then what do you do? And then it's double damage.
Then it's just double damage.
Or a fumble on the other way.
And that's when it gets a little more complicated. It's either because again, if you have multiple attacks, and a lot of times they'll roll their attacks both at the same time. Well, then you don't know, is it the first attack that had the fail or the second attack? So they have to roll it one at a time, which slows the game down. Not a fan. But if they roll a 1 and they confirm the fumble, they don't get any more of their attacks, and they potentially become prone and fall down, which is bad enough.
From that point forward.
They don't cut their heads off and all this other stuff.
Right. You don't use those charts. Yeah. No. Okay. Very interesting. But I think, again, and we saw, I think First Encounter had critical hits and fumble. Again, you're probably going to end up trying something, because I think players, they like it and they want it.
Right. But I'm not saying you shouldn't use it, but just be aware it slows the game down.
Yeah, I think give it a try. So if you're looking for a critical hit and fumble method, I do encourage you to use good hits and bad misses. We always used it. We always liked it. I still like it. So, yeah, I encourage people to give it a try.
The last part that's a problem with it, too, is some of these are so catastrophic. We already have the situation where if you go down to 0 hit points, if you play old school, your guy's out for a week unless you have Death's Door, which is from the book that shall not be named. If you don't have the Death's Door spell, there's nothing you can do. So you've got a guy who's out a week. The player is now doing nothing for that session if you don't have multiple characters, which is never fun. All right. The last thing real quick is, because now we're over, is there was a great Top Secret adventure in here, which I'd love to see Nick run Top Secret for us. That would be great.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to real quick mention, I also like how to build a cloud castle.
Oh, yeah, Ed Greenwood had magic items in there, too.
Yeah, and it was who did Cloud Castle? Because I think it was a few people did.
Yeah, where is that?
So it was actually describing how you'd go about building a cloud castle, and it was very entertaining.
Yes.
Because it's step by step, and you got to make the cloud permanent, and then you do force walls. And
I didn't care for the giant squid. I didn't care about the dragon.
I did not like the ground squid that comes up and. Yeah, so the monster, I didn't like that much either. But I did like, because, to me it was sort of like, it's interesting, like the Cloud Castle was sort of like an article that you'd see in like Magic User Illustrated.
Yeah, exactly.
So, right? Or so,
Popular Magics.
Yeah, exactly. I think Popular Mechanics, exactly, right? So Popular Magics. And it's like, this is awesome.
Roger Moore was the person who did
it. Everything Roger Moore touches turns to gold.
It's gold.
So yeah, I thought that was very entertaining, because it was, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm not a big fan of high-level Magic users. I don't like the game when it reaches that point. But I got to tell you, building a cloud castle, and what was so entertaining about it, in my opinion, is it wasn't just like, let's do a spell called Cloud Castle. It was, no, I'm going to take the existing spells.
Right.
And I'm going to describe to you how you go about building a cloud castle. And wouldn't that be cool? So it just comes floating by. It's like, yeah, there it is.
There it
goes.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't have to be like, it's magic, you do it. No, he tells you step by step. It's like an instruction manual.
Yep.
How to build. It's like Cook's Illustrated now. How to, how you cook something up or something, a recipe, how to build a cloud castle. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, very good.
What are you eating? Hey. Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, that was Dragon 39. So I think we're ready for our D10 and wrap this puppy up, because we've got a game in a few hours.
That's true. I need a nap. Okay, who's rolling it?
You roll it.
Okay.
Divine Intervention.
Can you see that?
Is it a 10?
It's a 1.
Oh, it's a 1. That makes sense.
That makes sense. It all makes sense now.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to tonight's game, part 2. We've got some folks. If you are playing, make sure you're on Skype at 6:30 so we can test everything. We'll be recording them. And then we talked about, I think part of the reason what we like on the stream is being able to show people how we DM 1E so people can appreciate it. I don't see that in a lot of live streams. So what I'm hoping to do, we'll see what happens, is show what the module we're running, and then I may break it up by encounter. So like Team 1 did this in this encounter, Team 2, Team 3. That's a lot of work, and now I have AD&D the movie to work on. I don't know if I have time to work on that. So we'll see if we get to that. But again, we look forward to that. We have Jason Elliott on our next show, August 8th, who is now the owner of TSR, which is super cool.
Yes, very cool.
So we're looking forward to that. So for Grog Talk, I'm James.
And I'm Dan.
And we'll talk to you next time on Grog Talk. Take care.